today's MWO Comcast, which is going to feature EQ versus Abens and KSG versus 5JDX. That one's coming first. With a special surprise in between. It's not all that much of a surprise, but we'll talk about that later. With me today is Therax and Audeus.
Yeah,
Hey.
looking forward to the matches.
Therax casting over on MWO Leagues 2, so go check that out for his perspective. Always good to have both up as well. Audeus is our expert today, and probably going to have Ghosty here coming in, which is why you have that little blank spot on my stream. But with that all said, hey, we've got some time to chat here. So what do we think? So first up, we've got Castellan Guards versus 5 Jaguar Dragoons. This is the losers bracket. So the winner of this match will go on to face the winner of the next match today between EQ and Avon.
The loser of today's other match.
Yes, geez, yes, thank you. Yes, that is so. Yeah. Things are coming to a head here in this tournament.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
I'm looking forward to this. Should be a really good matchup here. Castellan Guards has looked quite good throughout the tournament so far, but 5th Jaguar Dragoons was a pick to be a top 1, top 2, top 3 team for a lot of people here. So, worth noting that whoever loses this first match does end up finishing 4th place for the Championship Series 2023, which is quite a respectable finish. And the other team, they still got that chance to win outright and take the first place championship.
Yeah, and on should the winner next week, should the winner hang on, let me make sure I'm going to say this correctly because I've got so many ways to look at this. So if the winner of this match, KSG or 5JDX, wins their grand final, their first one, they go to a second one because this is a double elimination tournament. So
yes,
that'll be a heck of a day.
Yeah, and it's so for Equilibrium and Aubins, what they're playing for is not just the chance to advance directly to the grand final. It's also a chance to have, like an extra life in the grand final, as it works out. With having to be double eliminated, that counts even in the final match. We could end up having, the finals be 2 matches instead of just 1, depending on how things play out. Whether or not a team actually needs that second life, we'll find out, but it's nice to have. So a lot at stake here for everyone. And, with the stakes being this high, you expect that teams will bring their A game. So,
all right, yeah, absolutely.
We've got a couple minutes here yet before the teams get in and we do the map select. So I guess we could go ahead and talk about the preview of the first match a little bit more. So Castellan Guards being a relatively newer team, not as established. They've been around for a while under a couple of different names. They've played under Tons of Rust, and they've played under Black Lightning, which is not a team that I remember. Not sure how they finished. And then looking under another name change. Basically, it's a team that's been around for a while, but they've been recruiting some new players and just kind of continuing to build up their skill. So Castellan Guards, a newer name. They did have a placement last year, but this is their best finish ever so far. I think even under all the different names where they've had reasonable finishes in the past, but nothing coming to a top 4 finish. So yeah, kind of like the new kids on the block as it is to an extent. 5th Jaguar Dragoons, much more established, well-known team, number of top finishes. For a long time, they were the B team of the legendary 1st Jaguar Guards team. But that team has decided to take a break from the championship series for this year. So 5th Jaguar Dragoons kind of maybe stepping a little bit more into the spotlight now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, as a heads up, both teams, well, as you can see in the chat, are we're getting ready to go for map selection here as soon as Bacon Lord gets back. I'm going to give him the go. So actually, I am going to get
Yeah.
us out of this lobby view and head on over to the map view. It doesn't mean you have to stop talking, but let us know what's happening here as we look. So actually, this presents us an opportunity. What do we? Let's put in our bids for what are we going to see first in terms of map. What do we think these teams are going to pick? Castellan Guard has map choice first. I know Vitric has traditionally been an early pick. However, that has swapped the past couple weeks, and it is coming in later with teams choosing to exercise their advantage.
Yeah. So I think a lot of the time it's been suggested that Vitric would be the first choice. There was some strategy discussed on previous streams where it was suggested Vitric would be the first map selected because it doesn't matter which team side you're playing on that map for the most part. Um, but I've also seen a lot of teams not pick Vitric first. I haven't gotten a handle on what strategy these teams are using in order to determine which maps they're going to be playing. So Vitric is the first map picked, so they are following that suggested strategy.
Yep, and so that basically gives Castellan Guards potentially the first meaningful pick. I mean, we're going to Hibernal. It doesn't, it's
Uh,
not exactly symmetrical,
yeah,
but
team side matters on
it's
that one, but it is flexible in a number of different ways that can be played. I would say it doesn't
yep.
have a strong team advantage one way or another.
There we go.
And
Polar. That's one that matters. And then I would expect Mining Collective next. These teams are chugging along. They
yeah,
know what they want.
Crimson as the
Yep.
fifth map. So now the teams get to pick team side. And the way it works is that the team that did not select the map gets to choose the team side on that map. So Fifth Jaguar Dragoons electing to play their chosen side on Vitric. Now Castellan Guards gets to choose their side on Hibernal.
We move on to Polar. This one is interesting. I think JGX would probably want, what is it, Team 2, I think?
Hold on, I'm just gonna check here. Team
Yeah,
two, yeah, I would pick Team two myself personally on this map as it gives you better access to the Fox 9 Gamma hail point.
yeah.
That is a strong point. I
If
think Team two has a little bit of an advantage getting there.
yeah, the question is if they even want to, because if KSG is thinking of maybe going with a cap strat, they might want
Yeah.
the Team 1 side, and they have the pick, and they are going to take the Team 1 side. So look at that. KSG with Team 2 in Mining Collective.
So with taking Team one side there for Fifth Jaguar Dragoons, I would suspect that they would want to be pushing. I would read that as they're going to be doing a push of some sort, maybe a large pulse laser push through the Hotel 8 to Gulf 9. But we'll see what they do.
Yeah, I'm just reviewing things here. Hibernal Team 1, Vitric Team 2. Okay, yeah. So selection is complete. Let me make sure sides here. KSG on Team 2. Sides correct.
Got a couple of side switches there.
Yes. All right. So again, and also these teams are on different server things. So as usual, we'll be switching. Since KSG is Team 1, we're ending up with the Euro server first. That'll switch to the North American server after that.
Castellan Guards coming in as the higher seed. I'm not entirely sure how that was calculated, but
It's not the higher seed. It is just the Team 1.
yeah,
is the thing.
I mean, they've got an identical path to getting here, so I'm not sure how the tournament website determines who's Team 1 and Team 2 in a situation like this.
Well, it just follows the brackets, right? Once the seeding is done, then it just follows.
Okay, yeah, I see that now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so they do get a little bit more time on the home server. I mean, European server to North American server, there's not a big ping difference there. It's not like oceanic. So I think everything should be fine on that end.
Yep, and we've got a disconnect with Windscape. We'll see if I need to boo him anyway, but we'll see. Teams are getting ready. 5 JDX coming in with 11 people. That's a little bit of little bit of a field violation there, but I'm sure they'll narrow it down. They're usually pretty good about that. This is a terrible joke. Don't worry about that.
I haven't seen anyone try to drop with more than 8 players yet.
Yeah. Also, hey Ghosty, we are joined by Ghosty. Let me make sure that your icon is up there. It is. Welcome.
Hello. Good evening.
So we're starting off with Vitric. I'm going to send us over to the map room in case there's I mean, we've talked these things to death. I don't expect there to really be anything much to talk about with these two teams, but it's something to look at while we chat here and the teams get ready.
I mean, the real question is, are we going to see any tower blood asps?
Wait, yeah,
Oh,
blood
yeah.
asp tower? Ooh, I saw a summoner. What was it last week? So blood asp too, huh?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Against 5J.
So
All right.
I'm going to
I
pop
wanna
up the
see it
map
now.
strat here for that, I guess. So we could talk about that briefly. So there was a blood asp, as it's been alluded to, that was up on one of the citadels. I don't remember if it was the Team 1 side or the Team 2. Map's almost a mirror.
I guess I'm leaking the way to jump up there, so you can jump up here, right? Because you have 5 jump jets with skills, so it doesn't matter.
Get you up there a little bit
And
faster
you
in the
go
ramp.
here, and you almost, so there's these ramps here. Let me draw that a little bit. So there's these ramps here at the back end. So you almost line up perfectly straight with it, but you go at a little bit of an angle towards inside, and then you jump up and just hold W max speed.
So that's a jump that you would need to practice. It's not something you could just pull off, right?
I'd say it's something that, like, this is one of the easier jumps where you do it like once or twice, and as long as you know how jump sets work and you know why you get up there, which is like because you're at a slight angle and not completely straight.
Okay.
Then you can do it really reliably.
That's the full 5 jump jets that you're taking on that blood asp, right?
Let me quickly double check the skill tree setup for it
Okay.
as well. Let me
Because
leak
the
everything.
blood asp, for those who don't know, it's got with the blood asp E, there's an introduction of jump jets in the legs, so you can have the E legs on there. It's 2 jump jets in each leg, and then with the A center torso, you have a single jump jet there as well. You're not taking the side torsos with the jump jets. That the A side torsos would each have 1 jump jet, but there's no hard points in there. So in order to bring weaponry up, you're not taking the A side torso, just this A center torso, and then the E legs in order to get the jump jets to make that that high climb.
Yeah. On that specific one, you even want to run lift speed. Usually for jump jet height, you don't run lift speed. You only run vent cal, because lift speed gives you like 1, maybe 2%, and vent cal gives you like the full 15 for 5 nodes. But for that one, like just taking vent cal, you barely miss it, so you take lift speed to make it that extra little percent. It's a lot better than having to take a jump jet torso.
Yeah, that is 10 tons of jump jets and a number of skill nodes dedicated to getting up to that specific location.
Yeah,
that's a lot of tonnage and skill nodes that could be spent elsewhere, but it is quite a strong position from what I observed there. It looked like you were doing a fair bit of work in the match where that was observed. And now cat's out of the bag, so everyone could try and copy that going forward, whether or not they choose to. I don't expect to see it from either of these teams here, but I could be surprised.
And speaking of which, let's find out. Both teams locked and ready to go, so we'll go ahead and launch them and see what kind of blood asp we see. Oh yeah. 1 second.
Right, I forgot about that.
No worries.
See, we knew we were forgetting something.
Yeah, there's always something.
And as usual, let me know if that quality degrades, because I have other options. I never know which one's better.
All right, kicking it off. So this is losers bracket. So loser here today gets kicked from the tournament, takes 4th place, quite respectable. Winner advances and gets to play. See if they can fight their way back up to 1st place.
All right, and they are coming in here. I am with KSG on this side. Oh, actually, you know what? Our scoreboard is incorrect. Hang on, let me fix that real quick.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't check that.
All right, here we go. So we've got a Black Lantern Viper, a Roughneck, moving pretty slow. Large X Pulse and small X Pulse over here. Corsair 5R, interesting. LBX and large X Pulse. Hasu and the Kodiak 3. We got a lot of atypical mechs here. That's our 4AC ERPPC, a Cataphract there. And that's probably it. What do we got over
It's a
on
mid-range
5J?
push deck here from 5th Jaguar Dragoons. They brought a lot of large pulse lasers. Hatchet Man is heavy PPC, light PPC combo. So definitely a mid-range Pop Tart. So yeah, lots of mid-range. I think they were kind of hedging their bets to do a receive as it is. They'll have
Yeah,
to probably end up pushing here.
I'm not entirely sure where the X Pulse falls. My thought would be more of a mid range receive. There's a lot of large X Pulse over here on the KSG side.
Okay. Well,
we got JB up on top as well as Mokor just raining down from the tower on the 5J receive line here.
yeah, X-Pulse is going to have to make the push then, if that's what the... Yes, absolutely. Here it comes.
And they're moving up for it. Yep, here it comes. They're starting to gather. Getting some trades in. Hasu and the Kodiak down to 84%. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, head is open
that's
on the
head
Kodiak.
Open. All right. A little dangerous, but not the worst.
Yeah, take a second headshot to take that head off. It's possible at this skill level.
Yep,
Corsair's
absolutely.
going.
And here they go. Dario and the Mistlinks up top here, raining down on the KSG push. We got Mokor down at 63%. KSG really hurt going into this push, but Jiffy already down.
Roughneck open center
that?
torso.
Yeah, good. There we go.
Kodiak
Hasu
goes
down to that Kodiak to a CT. We were watching that happen.
Roughneck is having to turn around, goes down.
Yep.
Jiffy's
JB.
down. Monk is legged. Or halved, sorry. Marauder is halved.
Yep. We've got the 5J Wolfpack in the backs of this push here that is just not making the progress that they need to. Gwentler and that Corsair going down. We got a little bit of a fight here going on with Django JB.
Cataphract is halved from the rear.
Yep.
Still has an LBX
here
10.
Comes Jinto and Dered coming in. Trying to close some of these, but it is right now 1-5.
Oh, Mokar can't get back up on that Kit Fox.
Yeah, probably. Let's see, how are we looking? Yeah, probably maybe lost some jump jets there to crit. Tremzelis is goes down. Mokor trying to get some shots here on Grolsch, but they're just all going to team up. This is
Kit Fox goes down, and it's just
much armor going in.
Yeah, it's just the Viper left now. There's no chance here for Dered goes to faster. Vipers have very, very damaged at 42%.
Yep. But 5J moving away from where he is, so I don't think they know where he is. They're fanning out to take a look.
There's no caps taken.
There's no caps to be won here.
There's no chance. It's just going to take a couple seconds to play out here. I mean, Dered's just jumping back up. There's no need to run.
Yeah. Is he gonna catch anybody off? Probably not. Looks like he might get Cougar.
Phoenix Hawk is legged.
One touch here.
Possible kill there. Yep. Marauder.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Takes him out.
It was a push attempt. The receive had sufficient DPS. CSJ was kind of hedging their bets toward a receive deck there, and the lights in the back was kind of probably the biggest issue there.
Yeah. The 5J light pack, wolf pack, whatever you want to call them, is very strong, and I say that every week. And the rest of their team is very competent. That's not, this is a hammer and anvil situation. I think, Wolfpack on Wolfpack 5J generally has good stuff. But we look at Poker here with the double D at 51 and that Kit Fox having dropped and not really having any in-range shots, and just so much damage from 5J. It's really quite a striking distance or difference. You can see where things went. Here's some details for you folks. Who gets the team damage award? That is Dario. Dario gets that 13 team damage.
Teammates shouldn't have been standing in the way.
That's right. That's their fault. Okay. I'm gonna send you guys over to the map room for a little debrief if we want to talk about that at all. I've got a whole bunch of switches to make here, so
yeah, Ivor's gonna be busy for a little bit. So pretty straightforward here, just a push from KSG up and over the ramps. I think everyone's kind of familiar with how that goes. There was some play from the lights around the side. I think they were with the main on the jump. I mean, they made a play toward side cap, I believe was the Epsilon side cap, and then kind of backed out, and I think just jumped up. But very strong receive there from.
I went around backstab Jiffy, I think.
Yeah, I think you got the better arrow there. I was looking at a different part of the fight at the time. Fairly strong receive.
Might be wrong.
I know. Definitely, I think you're correct because there was a fight in the tunnels. So I think your arrow on how they got up probably is more accurate than my arrow on how they got up. I think I would give a lot of this credit to just the lights from 5th Jaguar Dragoon sitting back up high around Theta in the sky there and putting in rear shots on the Roughneck and the Corsair, kind of forcing a little bit of a slow down turnaround, and also just some good focus fire.
That's really hard to deal with if you're sending your lights to do a backstab, because you just have nothing to contest those mechs up there. It's basically impossible to fight for it. So you just have to send it and hope that they don't kill you with your shots, because if you stall on these ramps because you don't want to push to get backshot by mechs up here, then you end up losing the drop because you're stalling a push deck, and you can't fight these guys because you're in a roughneck, a cataphract. You don't have jump jets. You can't do anything about it. So you have to just go and hope, and it doesn't usually work out. One interesting side note though is that this time 5J brought a Hatchetman 5S over the 7R.
Yeah, I was surprised by that Hatchetman.
Probably because they both have 7 energy. The 7R gets mask, and the 5S gets, and in exchange has everything in the right arm, whereas the 5S gets high mounts in the torso and distributed over both arms.
So the Hatchetman today was a heavy PPC, light PPC, and backup weaponry. Ooh. I'm assuming that's
interesting.
Not something you could put all into one arm, right? That would have to use the torsos, right?
Let me double check that for you real quick.
Yeah, I'm actually
not sure on that either, but
trying to pull it up
heavy
myself
peep,
here.
Light peep, just the standard. I mean, yeah, you'd miss out on 2 smalls, so that would make sense then to go with 5S. I was thinking more of a sense of the mech works really well if it isn't played a lot, because people don't focus the arm. But as it gets played and as it becomes meta, things like that just get established, that you just shoot the arm off. We saw a similar thing with the Rival, where the first few teams that brought the Rival were really doing insanely well with it because it was really good mech. But then people realized, oh, you can just shoot the right arm, the right torso, and it became a lot weaker because of that. But yeah, heavy peep, light peep, that would do the trick in order to convince someone to go for the 5S instead. Especially because it's more ranged as well.
I'm pretty unfamiliar with that Hatchetman in general. I thought it had bad hitboxes from the little bit that I played, the one Hatchetman I own.
Right.
But I've been seeing it used here by some of the top level comp teams, not the second tier of comp teams at all. I think 5th Jaguar Dragoons has been using it, and then also have I seen it on any other team? I'm not entirely certain. I think there's one other team that was using it.
I know I've played it in the invitationals.
Okay.
I think the Hatchetman, if played properly, the hero Hatchetman is the tankiest medium that still gets jump jets. The tankiest medium, if you don't care about jump jets, is the Punchy 4SP. And then the Tin Man gets second place.
So it used to be teams were using the Hellspawn with that SRM quirk as their SRM medium, and you think the Hatchetman's kind of doing a better job of that?
The Hatchetman has the Hatchetman has less firepower and is tankier. So
tankier, okay. Yeah, I mean the Hellspawn hitboxes
fills a different role.
Not good either. And then the Assassin just hasn't seen competitive play in quite some time at this point, I would say.
The Assassin needs a buff if you want to see it in comp. It's compared to things like the Viper, the Shadowcat, and if you're brawling like the Hellspawn, it's just...
Alright.
It doesn't compare.
Looks
we
like
are ready to go here. We give these guys the warning and go ahead and get into it. We didn't get to talk too much about Hibernal, but we'll see how that turns out. We'll talk about it after. Just mixing it up here on MWO Comp here.
I think everyone's kind of seen Hibernal once or twice by now.
Maybe, possibly.
If you haven't, you've maybe seen Canyon, the exact clone but different color.
This is based on Old Canyon, though.
It has some differences to it, but
I mean, yeah, they added some ramps.
overall,
recently,
it's
too.
very similar.
All right, I am over here with what is this? 5J. This is 5J.
All right, I'm finally
this
loaded
is the
in.
group I want to see. I've got a Phoenix Hawk here with the heavy and light peep and lasers. Hag 30 large pulse Warhammer. SRM ER large Arctic Wolf. Light BPC Blackjack. I think we're looking at largely sort of a pop tardy, trady kite kind of a thing going on. We've got a Blood Asp over here with large and one Hag 30. Interesting. Yeah, so we've got a bit of a trade deck here that can definitely receive over here on 5J. What do we got on the other side?
It is definitely a push deck here. The Atlas is quad large X-Pulse laser. Summoners SRMs. There is triple ER large on the Crusader, so they did bring one ranged mech, but the rest of it is just SRM bombers, and just the push is already coming in here. This push has been
Bacon Lord Brower
scouted,
may
I
be
do
in
believe.
trouble. Yep.
Jiffy's looking the
waiting for him
way,
around the
so
corner.
definitely should be aware here.
Yep. And here come the light pack. They definitely have sights on them now. JB and the fire starter are down to 84%, 83% now.
Light pack is taking damage. They can't go in here yet because their main body is not in range.
Yep, Brower and Bacon Lord taking the top, and they are getting sort of counter pushed on the light pack here. Get out of my canyon, says 5J. And they oblige. They pull back a little bit here. Jinto taking his time.
Not leg, just got stuck on terrain.
Yep. And around we go, rotating around this rock here where they're going to find Django in the Crusader. Let's see if they're able to coalesce on that. Gwentler, Old House getting in there. Old House down to 70, in the 70s at least, with some back damage. Yeah, KSG just looking really beat up here.
Yeah.
5J doing okay, except for Grolsch. Grolsch down to 66%. That's probably halved at least. As KSG continues to push against this wall.
The fight's breaking up. This is no longer focused here. Cougar's been legged and goes down.
Yep. There goes Cougar.
And Jiffy's been isolated and killed as well.
KSG pulling this off despite a slow start. JB goes down the fire starter.
I'm not going to call them pulling it off yet, but Cougar on the flank, the Crusader drew a lot of attention from 5th Jaguar Dragoons.
Yep. But
Arrow's legged, Blackjack Arrow.
Right now. Yep, Hasu with that Atlas coming in here. Who's down here? Bacon Lord and the Blackjack just getting absolutely jumped by the rest, which leaves us with Grolsch, Monk, and Dario.
Wow.
Monk down here really beat up, halved.
Crusader is open on the side tour, so the Mislinks is dueling here, and there's absolutely no support for the Crusader.
Yep.
But the Mislink's leg is open though. As soon as that leg goes, this is kind of probably over.
Oh, well, Enova's have now open CT. There it is. Dario closes that out.
Both legs open. Dario going for the Atlas.
Old has Monk had gone down in a trade out there. You can see it in the corner. And this is Atlas versus Mislinks. Mislinks, I think, with the advantage here with the terrain. Just going to end up having with those X pulses, and Old House is going to be a little heat capped here.
Those legs are so open on the Mislinks. Center torso is open as well.
Oh yeah, and the rest of the team is coming. Let's not discount that. There is still more KSG descending on Dario here. Looks like Hazu might survive. All right, yeah, there it is. Rest of the team.
Wow.
Thumbs up. Hazu says no, this is mine, and we disperse for caps.
That fight looks so bad at the start for Casterian guards, just with their lights eating damage and getting nothing done. But once that brawl started, the focus was not there for the 5th Jaguar Dragoons. They couldn't find the targets. They didn't dive the isolated mech, and they didn't have the focus on the main body's push. Rather surprised at the outcome of how poorly that was looking at the start there for Casterian guards, but
Yeah, and I
pulled it
wasn't
back.
necessarily calling it early. I was just surprised that they got
I
what 3 kills before anything. I was
I
like,
mean,
wait a minute, something's going on here.
I wouldn't blame you at all for calling it early. That looked over to me, and then it just turned around.
Yeah. Well, no, to your point, KSG was still beat up. If 5J had had some more focus, I think they could have pulled it
I,
off. It's closer than it looks, I think.
I'm surprised the way that KSG, their small mechs, they stalled in a death trap, and none of them got legged. Like they were down to 77% or whatever it was, but none of them had been legged, which quite surprising to me.
Yeah, no real outliers in damage. Gwentler and the Cataphract pulling almost 600, Jiffy at 500, Dario at 560. I mean, honestly, damages are pretty spread. JB with the double D and that fire starter having gotten knocked down early, but otherwise, pretty even across the board there. What do you got? What Ghosty, Audius, what did you guys see?
I would like to draw your attention to the fact that the previous advice for the KSG to pay attention to X pulses seems to have been heard. In
Yes.
general, it's in general it seems very likely that the Jaguars were expecting a push from the KSG and therefore decided to play a more conservative decks than the usual. The Jaguars made the mistake of lining up made a push in the canyon, but then allowing the enemy to push them from height up into the canyon. Not something you want to get when you have a FF mech with ranged weapons in the distance, like it was for Jaguars. Sometimes the ability to switch is very important, and this was something KSG liked in the last game, but in this one they seems to have pulled it together. They
Yeah, I just once the fight started there, the focus fire was just better for Casterian guards than Fifth Jaguar Dragoons, I would say.
I'm not sure I disagree. I agree. I think calling that match earlier actually is totally viable. I think as soon as Grolsch and Monk decided to stay here, and their team decided to get aggressive on this side, that match was over.
See, I was focused. Just I wasn't looking at the Monk and Gwentler over on the or not Monk Gatsu over on the far side. So I don't know if they had shots into this channel or not. But
they don't.
Over on this far side with the 5th Jaguar Dragoons, there was just a single Crusader holding at this Charlie 2 point, and 5th Jaguar Dragoons were harassing but not diving that mech, despite having like a 3-to-1 numbers advantage there with their wolf pack versus what was most of the time just a single Crusader. So they were in location, but they weren't actually being aggressive. And then the main channel push kind of just managed to walk in without getting cut apart.
The
Over
main
in this,
thing here is KSG have 6 mechs here, just stacked.
They did, yes.
And 5JX looked something like this: 4 mechs here, 2 mechs here, which is also like, and then the KSG assaults were roughly here, right?
Yes.
The problem is if you now take this fight right here.
Yeah.
This is a song line, and your assaults. These two guys are out of the fight. They can't help you.
Yeah, if you drop
Whereas
in that valley,
KSG, they're playing rush assaults, and they'll be there first. So this is a fair fight. Actually, it's like at 300 meters, so I'd say KSG has like a build advantage there because they're built for push. So that's like even slightly in KSG's favor, and then their assaults get there before 5JX's assaults go. So they win this fight on average.
And to compound that, we didn't see it, at least on my perspective, but one of their trade assaults got halved, or at least down to 68% super red, while these assaults were pushing in here. So they were countering these guys on the way in, and rather effectively.
Yeah, that compounds on top of it, but even just because of the timing, because you bring faster assaults, you win that brawl on average. And KSG still, they got scared and they ran away, which I think they just got scared because 5J played that very confidently. they very confidently counterpushed that, and I mean the comms on KSG must have been something. Oh, they're pushing this. We can't take this fight. They're not gonna take it if it's disadvantageous for them, right? You don't expect your enemy to make that big of a strategic mistake. So when they do it intentionally, it can force you to make an even bigger one if you don't have the info.
Also, at the start of the push, I want to point out that the Jaguars actually had only 5 mech here, because one was here actually, right here. So
Yeah, but that's
it's
honestly close enough that it gets into the fight.
I just was surprised that the lights stalled up in that low spot in Charlie 2 for so long. The damage just didn't seem to be there. There was an assault mech. I didn't catch the build, but there was an assault mech looking at them for like a good 10, maybe even 15 seconds, and I mean there was a lot of damage dealt. The mechs were at like 70 some percent, but they all got out with their legs attached. So feels like a missed opportunity there from the 5th Jaguar Dragoons to cripple a light mech or Arctic Wolf or something.
I think if they had gotten more greedy there and pushed the fight harder, and KSG had realized, oh wait, this is only for like 6 mechs, that would have very quickly turned into a counter push from KSG,
Yeah.
and at that point it's less close than it was this way.
Yeah, definitely dropping down would have been a mistake, but I just, with the ranged weaponry, I'm surprised that they didn't land more damage.
But yeah, so with all of that, we're going to move on to Polar Highlands. There's just so much going on in these matches that we're not even able to move on to the preview of the match. So we're just doing the post view, I guess. But let's get these guys in match for Polar Highlands and see what kind of interesting things they give us to talk about.
Yeah, well,
in a few minutes.
we're tied up going into drop 3. This is very close match so far. It turned a best of 5 into a best of 3 effectively.
And we were chatting ahead, and I think our thoughts were this goes to 4. But seeing these teams playing today, they're it's working out. I think it's going to come down to where they are strongest on these maps, and who can push the advantages that they have. We'll see how it turns out. I think we might actually go to 5 on this one.
Looking forward to it if we do.
That being said, stay tuned between the matches because we have a juicy little preview of the next season coming up, Near Sphere Coalition. Got a couple of teams ready to go on that, and as these guys drop down, let's take a look. We've got ourselves ER Large, Small Pulse, Blood Ass. We've got some mid-range Tracy stuff, and actually some long-range Tracy stuff. So I think 5J is going relatively full trade. Let me find their we got an SRM Storm Crow here.
Okay, this is
well.
pure
So
much.
The Wolfpack is cried in, but they've got Trady for the rest, so they're a little bit split here.
Basically pure brawl here from Casterian Guards. There are ER Large on the Stormcrow, just 2 ER Large, and the rest is Red Laser. Executioner is triple heavy large with a bunch of Red Laser backup. So the Trebuchet is regular medium pulse, not the X pulse. Orion is LBX20 SRM, and then the Hellfires got SRMs, Arctic Wolf SRMs, the Black Lantern full red laser, and the Firestarter, which is going off for the side cap, is also running just 8 small pulse. There are no light PPCs or anything of that nature. This is pure brawl.
Interesting. So we'll see how that goes. If KSG can get aggressive with it, I think it might go to them, but all depends on the cutting abilities of 5J. Now, Moko are pushing in for the Black Lantern, scouting out this position. I don't think you know if he's seen Cougar. A little bit stuck on terrain here. Would love if he got up there and into the fight, but Cougar could be getting jumped here. As Mokar tries unsuccessfully to take a little shortcut here around the hills, exposing himself to Bacon Lord, but getting in there with Cougar and pulling back just a little tap there.
86%
that could have gone the other way if
on the
Mokar
Black
had been,
Lantern.
Yep. Not the best trade, but Cougar at 87 on the Viper. A little more armor is going to be taken off the Lantern, but That could be actually how did the Viper turn out? A little bit loose, weak on the leg there. All right, so KSG taking the center spot here and that Gamma overlook. Looks like they're going to head there. They're a little bit split. They're going to have to come at 5J from two different sides. Mokor testing the flank again here, looking to hit Cougar and gets smacked by Bacon Lord and is now down to 70% as they just test the lines here, looking for the best. That laner looking real rough at 66%. If 5J wants a pick, this is their opportunity here. At least have that Black Lantern. And it looks like they are pushing for it. Here's the 5J push with everything they've got. KSG holding that Gamma high ground, but not really having anybody in range to do anything about it. They're waiting to pull 5J in, it looks like.
Okay.
Meanwhile, bleeding some armor.
So the Executioner's taken a high ground overwatch position. I was expecting more of an aggressive push out of their Executioner, but looking to do maybe get a pick on a light diving in.
Yep. Grolsch and Monk taking up some overwatch positions here as KSG takes the low ground. Is going to take them out of the equation
Incubus
for
from
a
Dario.
few seconds as everybody starts tangling in here. Dario here surrounded by
Dario's
KSG.
legged.
And there it is. Yeah, going to take that out. But that is going to be at the
Thunderbolt
cost
cord
of a
from the
Thunderbolt.
rear.
Yep.
So
we'll
trade
take a
one
look
for
at that
one
real
there.
quick. Yes, that is cord out from the rear. Yep, and we're
Bacon
moving
Lord's
in
been
on
legged.
Bacon Lord.
Stormcrow is legged there.
Trem is going to move out here, I think, as the rest of the team circles along Bacon Lord, and this is going to start to snowball a little bit with the weapons that are on the field. However, KSG, look at those red percentages on there. Mokor looking really messed up.
Yeah,
Probably
Black
halved,
Lantern's
missing
halved,
most of the weapons.
down to 3 small pawls.
Jiffy here getting drilled in the side, losing an arm.
Legs are open
but
on the
red goes
Firestarter.
down. It's 2-2, and now the armor advantage is very heavily on 5J's side. As Gwentler
Now-
goes down, this is going to end up being cleanup for 5J. I think
They
at
are
this
going to be
point.
heat capped. That Mad Cat is currently powered down and is cooking. Leg is open on it. Leg is gone.
Yep.
But I don't know if there's anyone
1, 2,
left
3,
to pick
4.
up that kill.
Yeah, it's that's kind of it. 5J just getting the damage done here, no matter where KSG ended up going. It looks like they had shots on them, and it was just constant. It wasn't necessarily focused, but the way that they had set themselves up, there was just nowhere for KSG to run, and if they were running into it, there was just multiple crossfires going on there. So this one's going to go to 5J, just doing formalities of cap.
Yep. Viper, both legs are open there. Cougar is 60%, so that mech is fairly wounded. But Jiffy's Black Widow, high DPS mech. I don't know how the ammo count's going on it, but the mech looks relatively healthy there. Pretty
Just
decisive
lost
win.
an arm.
The interesting thing is that Fifth Jaguar Dragoons are playing very dedicated to receive. They're making a number of deck adjustments here, expecting that brawl. So we'll see if things shake up going forward.
All right, one more for 5J, making this a 2-1. Take a look at those numbers. All right. Low damage count overall for KSG, just not getting that damage out there. 3 folks in the 100s. Old Hasu with a double D there on that Thunderbolt getting cored out from behind. No such stats over here. 5J, everybody above 200, most above. Oh, nope, hang on. Dario at 155 with that Incubus just getting surrounded. But everyone, we got a couple 500s. Good damage overall on 5J, just pouring it out. All right, let's take a look, make sure we got the right stats. There we go. That's what we're looking at. Team damage goes to Monk with 44. No, I take it back. Trem Zalasis with 45. Morkor with 35. Lots of team damage, actually, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
On KSG as well.
Maybe a strike got away from someone there.
Yeah. All right, gonna head us on over to the map. Let's talk about Polar while I get these guys set up.
All right, so Polar Highlands, as expected, the Team 2 side, which was the 5th Jaguar Dragoons in this case, they took their Sigma, started rotating toward Gamma, and also put a couple mechs over to scout on Theta. Now, they never actually took Gamma, though, as the mainline push from Castrian Guards kind of sent a couple of mechs that way and a couple toward Theta. So it was a battle for Gamma to an extent, but the one team had brought more range and they could just sit back a little bit more. They didn't actually have to contest for the high ground. That's how I see 5th Driver Gruden's main movement. They were looking for Gamma, but they conceded it due to build differences. A mainline push with a skirmish element from 5th Jaguar Dragoons making a bit of a dive there as well.
I mean, I don't know if there's that much to say to this stop, because what really happened is that Makor overextended on Theta early and bled a lot, down to like 70-75%, which is really bad on Polar if you're in a light or a pseudo light like the Lanner. Both teams are kind of playing for Theta, Gamma, and their home cap. KSG did get it, but then they were stuck on Gamma Theta with mechs that couldn't hold those positions. So they were bringing Brawl-ish mechs, and 5J had more receive, but they also had more range. So if they just stayed in those positions, KSG would lose the trades over time.
Yeah.
So they decided, oh, we have to push. And then they pushed into a Black Widow and a Hag 30 Mad Cat, and
But the Mad
I'm
Cat
surprised they still got that close.
The Mad Cat was struggling with heat. I saw maybe there was a ghost heat accidental early on. I was taking some overheat damage. I'm going to ask specifically about the Executioner going up to that Gamma high ground and taking that Overwatch position in Pride Rock. It did have 3 heavy large lasers, but it didn't really feel like a trade mech that should be taking a high ground position there. You have any thoughts specifically on that?
I mean, if it's your longest range mech, it should go up. I don't know what to say to like 3 heavy large, because it's a very like unorthodox XE build.
Yeah, I think I've seen it
like
twice now.
Laser Realm at XE in general, though, you can put up there if the enemy team has less range than you, then it's still the longest range mech on the field, and you'll still be great. Once you know that they have ER large, though, it's not the best. So an ER large XE and ER PPC XE would have been a lot better up there against an ER large Mad Cat. But against, if 5J was running a push deck, that position for the XE would have been great.
Yeah, there are a couple build questions I've had about Casterian Guards just in general, like their Orion today, the Orion 2CA with the LBX20 SRM build. It doesn't have range. It was a dominant brawler of yesteryear, but now in a brawl deck, I'd rather see something like the triple large pulse laser or quad large pulse laser, the hero Orion, the Skull, which has mask. That would seem something more, if I was looking to brawl, that I would be bringing as opposed to Ryan 2CA in the current meta. Just checking to see if that Executioner has any quirks for that triple heavy large, and it does not. So I'd have to stagger fire that triple heavy large laser build.
Not really. It's 3 heavy large on an XE with, like, I'm assuming just smalls as backup. You can easily.
You can alpha that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like running through ER large on like a medium, where it does ghost heat, but also you're only going up to like 50% having ghost heat, so you just alpha it. It's a lot better.
Okay.
It's interesting to see KSG though.
How the ghost heat is on that triple heavy large is not something I've played.
It's alright. It's not bad, but it's alright. It's interesting for KSG though, as you brought it up. Like, they always have new builds that you don't see. That's one of the things that I really like them for, is they bring their own builds. A lot of the other 3 teams we still have in the tournament, we kind of end up just playing the same meta because it's very established, and then whenever someone innovates and it works well, then you end up adopting it. Things like the Arctic Wolf with SRMs and ER large that I think we brought last week or the week before, and now 5J is bringing it, or the Hatchet Man that 5J brought first, and then other teams started bringing it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There is who's innovating those builds, who's bringing, and Casterian Guards has been bringing some stuff that's old meta, some stuff that is definitely nothing I've seen anyone else use, and sometimes it's been working out. But once they're here in the top 4, I'm little bit hesitant to see, some of that stuff. We're ready to go for the next drop though. So
Sounds good.
On that topic, I think a lot of teams are like innovating and then adopting things that other teams innovate, and it like goes back and forth. So like 5JX is adopting things we've done, and then we're adopting things they've done.
yeah,
But KSG is just running alongside it, and it's really cool to see.
one of those teams to keep an eye on when they're putting in the work to come up with their own builds, their own strats, stuff that we aren't seeing from other teams. And they're doing quite well with it.
All right, and here we are on Mining Collective for drop 4. Currently 3-1. Go ahead, get that mini map in as teams come in here. I am with KSG here. We've got Red and a Viper all on his own in that drop zone. Let's see, we've got ourselves a Crusader. Always like to see the variation in that. With ER peeps on that, we've got a Death Strike with Hag, large, and mediums. That Arctic Wolf probably has some blue lasers on it. Sorry, I'll make this quick, guys. All right, well, we'll pass that up. And we've got a Keeper, so it looks like we're looking at something a little mid-range receivey Hags and SRMs. Oh no, maybe this is a push with something like that. We'll take a look. What do we got on the other side?
So definitely a bit of receive. Hags and ER large on both the Mad Cat and the Night Gear setting up on cakes. So Phoenix Hawk and Hatchaman both running Snubnose PPC, and it's 2 ER PPC on the Executioner. So a little bit of Pop Tart in there, but mostly I would say range. Mistlinks is running SRMs. Crusaders got triple ER large, if I remember correctly. Got a fight at Theta.
Yeah, so JB taking some hits here. In the back, interestingly enough, maybe there was a strike and miss while I was taking a look at the wall, but using that back wall against Cougar and their team 2 advantage here with the sniper on that back covering Theta and denying it successfully. So KSG is going to take the cap lead here.
Yes, the Mistlinks did manage to get the Theta cap, but it cost 23% of that mech. 40% of that mech.
35, yeah.
So that Pop Tart Snubbles PPC stuff, it's challenging to take Theta. The wall works both ways in that case.
Yep. And let me take a look at the list so I don't have to get away from the Marauders down to 96%. Saw them taking a little bit of fire there, so that's not bad, just out of range here. We've got the XE and Phoenix Hawk, Monk, and Brower testing the side here with Mokor and Jinto. With JB coming in as backup, Mokor dropping down to 74% as well.
Monk has been forced down.
Yep. But also just at 94%, and having taken Mokor down to 74, honestly, that's not bad. And they're just making sure that, what do we got here? The Red and the Viper getting a little cheeky on the side ground here.
Yeah, I grabbed a back cap there in Gamma to try and get that third cap, but Theta's been flipped, so back to a 2 cap situation.
Yep, with KSG still with the cap lead, just to hold. Although that'll stay status quo for a while here. So 5J spreading out with a really, well, it used to be a line they're kind of clumping up on the side here with KSG just sort of tucked away in a corner. It'll be interesting to see where 5J notices this and just starts to sort of close the gap around that and take the rest of the map.
Monk was forced out of their trade position. They've never quite gotten back up there. It's currently open, though, it looks like, but they don't want to risk it.
Yeah, taking a look at Grolsch's angles here on the cakes. Got some angles in the distance. Not going to be able to hold down Sigma. Sigma's going to flip here momentarily, as it's actually a 2-1 cap now.
Wentler's doing this trading from the, extreme range position here in the dark. But they are a little bit undergunned compared to the mechs they're trading against. Not sure how those trades are going to work out.
Yeah, and it's at a bit of a distance. 5J is not closing to make that distance worth it, but Mokor down to 59% here. Mokor's just losing some trades here, getting smacked around. Where is he? Oh, over here. You see just open on the side there. Going to start losing. JB and that Mistlinks down to 63%. Those are some of their fast movers on the team. They'll have the Arctic Wolf and the Viper, but being down 2 is going to be problematic as KSG just continues to lose armor And 5J looks like they're grouping for a push here.
Yeah, they're looking to get a pick maybe at the Sigma mech. There's a little bit of cover for that mech, but it was a 3-cap situation for Kester and Guards very briefly. Dario's coming over to flip that cap back.
Yep, Moker and DeRed about to get jumped here by Cougar and Brower, who see
Everybody's
it coming.
evacuated.
So they're
I don't know if
gonna pull out there.
I don't know if this push is going to continue past the cap point. I think it might just be flipping the cap and then pulling back again.
That would be the smart thing because they don't necessarily have their Overwatch to get that pick.
Night Gear's moving up
want to
from
pick
Jiffy.
that sniper, I'm sure.
So they are cementing their cap control here over Sigma.
Yeah. That being said, we've got Executioner and Hatchetman over here, just kind of hanging out and trading. I'm not going to say unopposed, but I feel like KSG could be taking that flip and running these two over.
Yeah, KSG's
and
retreated
just
to
staying
corner of the
movable
map.
safe.
This is a 4-cap situation now as State has been flipped.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure, and they don't have the armor to do it. We're looking at Shadowcat and Mistlinks at about 50%. Went learned that Marauder's down to 67% and open somewhere on that, or just having next to no armor. 5J consolidating here, going to counter Jinto and JB. I see them taking them out real quick here. Why at 71% is Jinto so red? Just almost ready to lose a half, I guess.
The opportunity feels like it slipped away there for Kester and Guards, where they might have been able to make a dive onto Montgatsu while they were losing map control. But
Jinto,
now,
where are you going? Jinto, where are you going? Oh, Jinto's going to catch it here. As Dario runs into Dario, Grohl, Jiffy, and Cougar up. But finishing off that half on Jinto, who's just... Did he disconnect? No. He's moving back
he's
and
pinned.
forth. He's just tucked in. Yeah. That was a rough loss here. We've got DeRed going to mess with a cap, but I think he's either spotted or 5J's making some really good guesses here.
Desperation time for Kester and Guards. They do need to find a cap soon. Very, very soon.
Yeah, we're almost to 500 in a 4-cap. That's going to go real fast. And actually, we're about to be a 5-cap here.
Oh no.
As FC goes. So 5J just asserting all of the pressure. KSG tucked in a corner here. JB probably going to go down here as they roll. No, JB able to tuck in
34%.
halved though. Yep.
Yeah, that Mistlinks.
We get some fight going on here. We've got just a real scrap.
4v3 here.
As KSG tries to get it done. JB going
back
down.
to 3v3.
Yep.
Brower's very heavily wounded. Looks like the Phoenix Hawk is lagged.
Yep. Cougar being held off by Mokor here on the side, who could be doing a lot, but Mokor doesn't have a lot of mech left. Brower...
Crusader's cooking for KSG.
Yep. Brower losing legs. He cooked his legs. That's interesting. Yeah, we lost Trem on the Crusader. Yeah, this is going down on the fight, but it's a 5-cap. This is a race to see, is it going to be on caps or kills?
It very much is... it's a desperation play from Kester and Guards trying to make something happen. And they're doing all right, but they're not going to have enough survivors here to go get the caps afterwards. Cougar's been legged in the Viper. DeRed goes to faster, goes down first though. Trade, I guess.
It gets Hazu, at least. So they got 2 kills on the board, but 5J, I think, content to just kind of slow this down. There goes Gwentler and that Marauder, because they've got it on caps. So we've got about 10 seconds, 11 seconds left. It's gonna go fast. Will Mokor hang on enough? See this go on caps?
There's going to be an aggressive push here.
Coming around to that hatchet, man. And
down to the wire.
This is going to come 2 caps. Oh, no. It was literally down to the wire. 7:49 when Mokor went down. Almost survived. Down to the half second.
So it was a good fight. Kester and Guards got backed into a corner, though, and never managed to reestablish map control after that.
There it is. That is actually the 3rd win for the 5J, 5th Jaguar Dragoon. So they're going to move on. Wait. No, I think I'm in the wrong bracket, aren't I? No, this is the losers bracket. Yeah. So 5J is going to move on. Casterian Guards, pulling 3rd.
4th.
4th. Sorry. Yes, 4th. There's still 3 other teams. Good Lord. Don't worry. I'll get my information right, folks. Taking a look at the scores, we've got 803 for Monk in that Xe, 720 for Grolsch. They just putting out the damage. Gwentler and that Marauder on the back wall, 600 damage. Very well used spot there for KSG, but not enough to counter the movement that 5J was forcing them into.
Yeah.
All right, let's make sure we're updated here. Take a look at some more stats. There we go. We're on the right one. 32 damage for Enova on KSG. Actually, that's been an interesting pattern. The more team damage you have, or rather the losing team tends to have more team damage. It's not that it's necessarily an appreciable amount, but it's an interesting correlation. There you go. Check those out. And we'll head on over to the map room to debrief as that one as we get set up for our bonus match.
Yeah. Well, can I speak?
Yep, of course.
In general, it seems very likely that since the last battle, the Castarians have decided to change their strategy very much, and are not playing from the bottom edge of the map. Which we saw several times in our scrims, to be honest with him. To be honest, against him. And we saw this moving to the d5, d6 position and taking the high ground like this. Like this. I don't entirely agree with the decision of Casterian's team because in such a situation you don't really get a tangible advantage in position that you have. For example, on a power plant, but also you don't guarantee yourself control over 2 points due to high position in Delta 4. I mean that from this area you could control both 2 points, and you also have good angles on the data. That is when you from team 2 place your mech in such a free line, and due to a good shot through the center, you hold the 3 pointed ons and force the enemy to come at you on their own. Position in Foxtrot 5, Echo 5 do not allow you to truly control the map or gain any advantage in the trade. Choose the Casterian's closet itself in the low lines in here. At the end of the battle, we have a desperate attempt to push to this line from the Casterians. I'm sorry, let's just clear this out. Which we usually expect to see from the other team normally. I mean, like this.
Yeah.
But at this point, they had already lost the bulk of their armor, and even so they had a numerical advantage here. They failed to gain an advantage with this move. Well, it's sad, but it's a life salary. I mean, GG for the both teams. I think it's all that I wanted to say.
Okay.
And I went to prepare for games against NAF.
Yeah, and actually that's a great segue here. We're getting teams into lobby. I'm gonna head us on over to lobby view.
Sure.
I don't have the map set up. We could talk about the maps at some point. We got a couple minutes here, but we're gonna run as sort of some interstitial content going on here. A preview or a beta test, if you will, of the upcoming Intersphere Coalition tournament, which I think opens in January. So you got a couple months to get your teams together. This is an Intersphere only 6v6. Actually, let me triple check that hasn't changed, but I'm pretty sure it's 6v6 and 3 cap on that.
An ISC without 6v6? That would be
It would be a
interesting.
wild change, but I don't want to make any assumptions here. So yeah, it is 6v6.
Intersphere Coalition, for those unfamiliar, it's a tournament that's been running for a number of years. Not necessarily every year, but I think we're on the 7th iteration of this tournament or this league.
The 6th one, I think.
6th?
So we had ISC 1, which was like 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Then it was a long time nothing. Then we had ISC 2 in 2021. ISC no, wait. Let me check.
I think 2020 there was an ISC 2.
Yeah, so 2020 definitely had one. Or
I think we're on ISC 6.
I
I think you're correct on
2020
that.
was. Yeah, we should be on ISC 6. So
Yeah. Okay.
because this year was ISC 5.
But it's a
Um,
tournament that's pretty popular. It's Intersphere mechs only, and it's playing a 3-cap format, so there's rules to deal with the other 2 cap points. People are supposed to avoid them, but sometimes things happen. We're playing Conquest on Series Metal Scrapyard to start things off, and I believe we have a relatively mid tonnage coming up here. Just gonna go check that.
Yeah, so it's actually 300 to 375 tons among 6 mechs.
I figured out, by the way, the ISC 2 was 2019, and then ISC 3 was 2021, and we've had one every year since.
Yeah, I've played in, I don't know, like 3 different, maybe 4 different ISCs at this point. I've missed a couple, but it's always been a good time. And yeah, it's I don't know exactly when the next Intersphere Coalition tournament is actually scheduled to run. I don't know if it's been fixed yet, but it should be end of January or beginning of February, probably. So for anyone watching, there's still a couple of months to go find a team for this. Recruitment might not even really start until early January, but you can start looking for a team now if you were so desiring, I suppose, or even just filling out your mech lab with all the Intersphere mechs that you might need for this.
Yep.
Yeah, I think ISC is like the Q1 tournament for 2024. So
Yeah, it is our first one. It's the next one up, and if you've been hanging out, enjoying your comp time, heck, get in it. If you get in this tournament, it is a lot of fun. ISC, you can get a decent team going with 6v6. You end up with a bunch of teams, so it's a great time. Both teams actually readied up. This is awesome. We're gonna launch as soon as we go, just because we're sort of interstitial content here. And the way that this, let's see, we talked about the restrictions. Some interesting things that we're looking at here. No loyalty mechs. If they're not out for C-bills. No legendary mechs, even if they're out for MC, and no clan mechs, which includes Gauszilla, the clan Irby, the clan Wolfhound, any of those ones. Double checking Kappa Theta Epsilon, correct.
it's also 1 hero per drop, right?
Yeah, they're limited to 1 hero per drop and no legendary mechs. So there are some restrictions built in here. I'm going to talk about the teams real quick as we get into launching this. So the 2 teams that have been volunteered to play today would be Gudron Synergy, which is playing on Team 1 for this drop, and NAF is playing as Team 2. So they're approximately Div C in strength. They're top 25 finishers in the Championship Series Comp Q section.
And both teams have been putting in a lot of work the past year as well.
And the Series Metal Scrapyard is a relatively new map. It's so new we don't even have a map room for it at this point yet. So it'll be interesting to see how teams play their comp on this.
Yeah, go and take a look. You saw Free Worlds up in the corner. Those of you watching my stream with that little overlay there. So, just be aware that was not what we're about to see. If you're not familiar with how series look, this is how series look. I personally like it. It's pretty cool.
One quick question. It's still 3 chassis over the course of multiple drops, right?
Yes,
Yes, that is correct. Mm-hmm.
That is an interesting factor to take into account for decks.
Yeah, ISC tries to force some more
minigame,
variety on chassis taken. You can't just continually bring the same chassis over and over again. I'm going to let you look at Team 1, Gudron Synergy. I'll go grab Team 2, NAF.
Scoot across here. So we're looking at a Locust and Atlas. 2 Locusts, actually. 3 Locusts. All right, we got 3 Locusts, 3 Atlas over here on Team 1, which is Gudron Synergy. Large X pulse on these Atlases. So this is something you'll see. You'll see some of these split matches. If I can click on this damn Locust.
The
There
NAF
we
is
go.
coming out brawly. 2 of the SRM catapults, 2 SRM dervishes. Their anchor mech is an Atlas with that AC-20 Stumnos PVC and some MRMs. They've brought 1 light mech with the fire starter here. So it is a 3-cap format. There is a little bit of a need to go for side caps if the situation demands. The fire starter is going to be called upon for that. But both teams looking like they're just going to come in here and smash face.
Yeah, and interesting that that NAF hasn't even bothered to take a cap here. That could be problematic, but if you're going for the super aggressive brawl, maybe not so much. So here we've got
3
we've got
Atlases.
main red hanging in among the atlases, saying "Protect me, daddies." While while sorry, well, I'll get used to these names here in a second.
All right.
Gussie, while Gudron pushes in, look at all
Atlases
these beautiful X lasers.
are peeking the corner. They're kind of just playing that corner. See
Yeah,
if they can
and
focus
loads
down
of
a leg here on the
Lathandra.
dervish.
Yeah, and Lathandra's going to go down fast to
Yeah.
those large pulses.
So those X pulse are very
Catapult next
hot,
on
though,
the
is
thing.
my understanding. So this could be counter pushed. Audeus being focused center torso.
Yep.
Catapults are just hanging back at the moment, though.
Yeah, and they're probably, yeah, that's a lot of SRM. They can do a lot of work here, but they have to get into shooting angles, which they're just not. They're just kind of hanging out in the cover here. There goes main red, and that Locust finally going down. The dervish for a Locust, that's a good tonnage trade, and that is important here. Beefy Supreme going down another dervish. Eleanor looks like about to go down the Atlas. Yep, there we go. As Team Drake comes in behind Audeus.
Audeus is halved. Should be cooked to death.
About to be 3-on-3. And I think looks like NAF with the tonnage advantage ultimately.
Catapult
maybe
goes
not
down.
Anymore.
Second catapult's open center torso.
Volt just laying out with those X pulses. Team Drake gonna go down as Goodall pulls back in the fire starter. And then it is up to Good. Oh, self-destruct by Neon. Get a little cooked there. Let's see here. Daddy Cool here. Open rear CT.
That Atlas,
have to get some shots.
The Firestar needs to pull this fight away from the Atlas in my mind here. But it's been legged, so that's no longer an option. The Atlas is very...
The Atlas. There it is.
Yeah, Atlas does survive. So a good fight there. I like the brawl. Triple Atlas is an interesting drop deck.
And that uses, more to the point, that uses all of their stuff, all of their atlases. They have no more atlases left to use.
Yeah.
And no more locusts either. So they're gonna have to get creative.
Yeah, chassis restriction there taking place, so they will not have access to those mechs going forward.
A really strong push deck.
Yeah, Volt with almost 800 damage across 6 mechs. That's impressive, frankly. Just laying it out. All right. We'll take a look at the scoreboard real quick if you want to see some stats. Now, the way that these work is we do side swaps with each map. So we are going to stay with the same map here. Let me triple check things because I do like triple checking. Yes, series with a side swap.
And for anyone watching who's wondering what's happening here, we're doing some exhibition matches in some downtime between our 2 championship series for today. There is another match coming up in probably about 35 minutes from when you see this. Equilibriums and Aubins are going to be playing the winner's bracket side match, determining who is going to the finals of Championship Series 2023. Just giving you a little preview of an upcoming tournament in case you want to play in it. You can start getting excited, building your mechs, and finding a team.
And start playing together. That's important. If you don't have a team now, start playing with your team. It makes a big difference. And we've seen it a bunch. We've got, like I know DPS this year did finish top 25. They ended up 6th place last year, and now there's some pilot turnover that goes on there. A lot of their team went to ME, who again finished 6th here. But one of the interesting things that I know they struggled with, since they were my team last year, is they had a really inconsistent roster throughout Worlds, and they just were essentially new coming into this tournament in terms of playing together. So there's some good pilots that are on that team, but they aren't used to working together, and it causes some issues. So get playing with each other. Build the actual team. Sometimes teams are more than just the names that are on them. A lot has to go with working together. It's never too late or too early to start that.
All right, so we're just going back to the same map, same drop tonnage here, just switching team sides. And, with the chassis limit kicking in, we aren't going to see 2 catapults or 3 atlases. So teams will have to bring something a little bit different.
And this same tonnage, right? Yeah, same tonnage on this one, 300 to 375.
The triple Atlas deck is really strong. I'm surprised that they went that close with it, though. It's really good playing with those Atlases at like 500 meters. It'll be interesting to see what Guzzi brings this time, because it has to be something completely different. Whereas,
Yeah,
the other team can bring a very similar deck, bring like 1 dervish, 1 catapult, fill that up with similar mechs.
yeah. As a substitute dervish, maybe a Wolverine or something of that nature. Could be quick draws instead, triple quick draw. To replace the catapults, and dervishes could go triple catapult, 1 dervish, 1 catapult. I think the tonnage works out there. Yeah, there's options.
All right, both teams ready, so we're gonna go ahead and launch into the second match here.
That's just a general ISC thing, where if you run 3 of the same mech, you kind of have to make a separate deck for the redrop of that map. Whereas if you run 2 and 1, you can like switch those around and run basically the same thing twice.
I'm of the opinion that you should kind of bring different things when you've got chassis limits like that. Instead of watering down a drop deck, find an alternate strat and run that instead. Oh,
there's something
in
to
my
be said
opinion, depends a
for,
lot on the map.
yeah, and also what works for your team too. All right, coming in here, I am over here with Gussie here. We've got 3 catapults, 2 chargers, and a fire starter on that. Check out those chargers. Probably a bunch of small lasers on a push. Smalls and nubs. Interesting. Oh no, there's a Crusader in there as well with heavy machine guns. That's a Krail. So small X pulse, heavy machine guns, and a few SRMs. And catapults are going to be the SRM bombers. Gussie with a full-on push here.
Yeah, so a little bit of a switch up on NAF. They're bringing the Atlas again, same as the last one, with the AC-20 Stumnos UPC. They're backing it up with triple Grasshopper with large pulse, mead pulse. Definitely pretty brawly. And then the Javelins were the medium X pulse and machine gun variants. So a little bit surprised we're not seeing more medium pulse, X pulse here so far. These Grasshoppers are definitely looking to get closer range and brawl as well.
Yeah, and Drake coming in here. We're gonna have a big old collision between the Grasshoppers and the Chargers. Gussie with just a lot of tonnage to push here while the Atlas catches up.
Stumnos PPC on that, on the Charger. There's a little bit of debate as to what to pair the small lasers on the Charger with. I thought that the consensus was maybe leaning toward 1 large pulse, X pulse, and then a whole bunch of small laser. Audacious leading the push here.
Yep, Drake dropping a lot. Wow, what happened there? Just
both legs.
Okay,
yeah.
Just hard legs. You'll see a lot of legs in this tournament, and some avoiding the 3 cap. The 3 cap ends up being pretty small. So you'll see a lot of brawl in this tournament.
Yeah, these teams
that IS armor, Umbral Dancer going
have
down
been asked to keep it aggressive, but Intersphere Coalition in general ends up being a fairly brawly tournament.
Yeah, okay, so we're seeing Staz getting a little focused down here. Audacious trying to counter the top along with Tank Kiwi Mancer taking a lot of fire. We've got 2 or 3 fights going on here. Goodall versus Volt. Leothandra joining in against Volt. And the rest of Volt's team coming to take out Goodall. Leothandra going running. Let's see how we end up. 33 and down. That's a 5-0 for Gussie on that one.
So the Grasshoppers got a little bit too close too soon. That's how I would analyze that. They did need to stay a little bit further at range, medium pulse versus the SRMs you want to pull range a little bit, and the Atlas was not quite up there yet when the Grasshoppers started to get caught by the push there. Minor adjustments that could be made there.
And there's something to be said. A lot of what people will look at is what are the speed of the mechs,
Yeah.
especially in a brawl in this tournament, and try to unify those speeds, especially among 6 mechs. It can be a little challenging with the lack of repetition of mechs.
There's
You can only bring 3, but it's an important stat for this tournament.
yeah, these teams were notified 2 days ago that they were going to be able to play this
Oh, yeah.
exhibition, so they haven't exactly been practicing, let's say. But Gujon Synergy is doing a good job with pushing their tank mech ahead, Audaeus, and then pulling them back, rotating that armor, keeping their mechs alive.
I will say though, the Grasshopper just isn't tanky enough for a push like that. I'd rather just run Laser Mob on it and try to stay back more than run Medium Pulse and push in. It
I'm
gets
wondering
focused so fast.
where the medium X Pulse Thunderbolt is. Like, that is a mech that identified as being strong, is my understanding.
That would have been a straight up upgrade over the Grasshopper, in my opinion.
Yeah, the way that they're using it, they might be saving it for a different drop yet. I mean, they are on a 3 chassis restriction here. So we'll see what they bring.
That is true.
All right, now I'm pretty sure this one we don't swap. T1 is NAF. Yes, so we are not going to swap. We're just going to swap the map to Free Worlds League. There you go.
Okay, and we are going to a different tonnage limit here. So we're doing Free Worlds League. We are doing 425 tons and 475 tons as the lower and upper limits. So it's a 100 tons heavier on the upper limit than the previous drops, and we were already seeing triple Atlas, so this is a very, very heavy drop here.
Yep, but not this is not our unlimited one. So still a bit of a heavy, but oh no, actually drop 5 is going to be the light one. I take it back. We'll talk about drop 5. Yeah, this is our heavy, but
I mean, you can't get much heavier than 475 tons for 6 mechs. Like, if you want to have any ability to go for that third cap point, which these teams might not be using that today, but you need to think about that if you're going to be playing the league. You still want to run one light or medium with fast legs in your 6 mech drop deck.
Yeah, especially on some of the larger maps.
475 is what, 80 tons almost per player?
I did run the math a while back.
Yeah,
What
it's
was
80. It's 70 something point something.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
480 would have been 80 per player.
Like, even a Charger is almost a little bit too light for this drop at that tonnage if you want to be bringing a fast medium.
In comparison, the Championship Series is 60 tons per player on average. It's 480 tons for 8 players compared to 475 for 6.
Yeah. So this should be almost pure assault mech here.
This is, if you want to run a light mech, I think you can run like 490 tonners or something.
I think this is where you crack out something like the Assassin or Vulcan as your light mech, just because you have that tonnage, or even a Phoenix Hawk, like up to 45 tons is the lightest mech on your drop deck.
Like a narking Dark Death, and everybody else learns.
Well, learn
and
strat.
You bring out things like the Annihilator, because you just have the tonnage that you don't have to sacrifice anything for it.
Now, the Annihilator is pretty slow for a map as large as Free Worlds Coliseum.
Just 100 tonners in general.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, what other 100 tonners would you take though?
Atlases, but one team has already used 3 of them. The other team has used 2. So
yeah, I guess Corsair might be a mech that would be good on this map.
Yeah, it could be really good. But on that note, I think I have to leave and go prepare for our match.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck with your match today.
Absolutely. You. All right, hang on. Let me update our overlay here. There we go. Ghosty signing up. FC Theta Sigma, I believe, is correct. Triple checking.
I don't have the map on my screen at the moment. Pull that up.
Oh no, I lost my timer.
These teams. Oh, what is going on here? There we go. Interesting. Yeah, it looks good. So Okay, I've got the mini map up side of the screen. I can maybe take a look at that. We're playing. Well, what color even shows up on this map?
Green is probably pretty good.
Green. All right, I'm gonna use some green. So we're doing Epsi Theta Sigma, was it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's pretty close for Team 2 for them to get their secondary cap, just a short walk away. Whereas Team 1 would have to walk a little bit further. I don't know how much these teams are going to care about caps. I'm expecting this to be more of a fight around the Echo 4 grid. It used to be that this map was all about the high ground Charlie 5, but with the mushrooms having been added, they kind of break up the sight lines a little bit. And I think that they're going to just fight over this Echo 4 position.
Well, that's interesting. I still think the high ground is pretty dominant on this map. We're launching, by the way. I know you can.
Oh,
I
great.
moved us into the map room there.
No,
So
I'm
we're just gonna go ahead and get this one moving since we're
absolutely.
well. We'll be okay on time, but the I still think the high ground is not a place to neglect. There's still so many angles on there. You do need to counter it. I could see this being a fight over the high ground.
Definitely could be. It is a bit of a walk for these teams to get to that high ground with their big boys that we're assuming they're taking. So an Annihilator might struggle to get there.
Oh, that is true. This is the heavy drop. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. So probably Echo 4 on that. If it were a lighter drop, I would think.
Yeah.
High ground on that. Ooh, interesting. All right, I'm closer to who is this? This is NAF here. We've got Crusaders, Night Stars, Cyclops. Pretty heavy here. So Beefy Supreme is beefy in that Cyclops, but not the beefiest thing around. We've got a lot of DACA going on here. What's on our Crusaders? Snubs and smalls, probably all the way around.
Yeah, Triple Crusader, that's a pretty good wolf pack for this tonnage.
I almost want to think NAF pulled a Crusader on, or was it Gussie? I don't know. There was it's something to pay attention to, but this is just an exhibition match, so
yeah,
we're not too stickler about it.
All right, ER large Stalkers ×2 for Gudron synergy. They did bring an Annihilator with ER large ERPPC Light Goss, so that is the big alpha. And I'm looking for there's their okay, so they do have a Crusader over on the cap point with ER large and small lasers. So again, a little bit hybrid, but pretty much trade mech. And then the flea for the cap point. So they're probably under tonnage here in terms of like the max limit, but they can play down to that 425 minimum.
That flea can be absolutely wicked.
Yes. Those Crusaders
getting into the back. So
Crusaders definitely have the ability to shut that down, though. Where the Night Stars and Cyclops might struggle, the Crusaders should have an okay time against the fleet.
Absolutely, but the mitigating situation there is, all the Annihilator and the Stalker, and if you're focused on Drake and Dion running into each other, a little bit of an exchange there. But yeah, that flea, if left alone, is sort of the kicker, right? And you've got enough tonnage that it can be left alone. Dropping a UAV there, very smart by Neon, as NAF tries to catch up to the Crusaders.
So Goss ER large on the Corsair taking the high ground position, but they're playing pretty far back. I don't think they have sight lines yet.
And we've got NAF absolutely ignoring caps.
Yeah, it is cap control right now. Caps are ticking. I'm not sure how try-hard these teams are being today. I think that they're just looking to get a fight in going here instead of necessarily going for strategic win around caps in the case of NAF. Annihilator's taking a lot of damage here.
Experimentation here, so
Audea's getting hit in the rear, trying to pull back.
Yeah, let's see. Neon's still avoiding. Yeah, it looks like Gussie just taking more of a trade strat on this one.
Yep, they're
trying to receive that push, honestly.
They moved up, they saw what was coming, and they pulled back after gaining their cap control. The Stalkers are kind of still stuck in the valley a little bit. They need to pull them out.
Yep. Deuce getting a little beat up there in that Annihilator. Still mostly okay. That front armor did somehow hit a lot in the back.
Yeah, it was on the retreat. Took a lot of rear damage. Not a rear reg situation, just got shot in the butt.
Ooh, yeah, here's our blue lasers coming into play here as NAF pushes forward with their Crusader trio. Beefy Supreme taking some hits in that Cyclops here. Nothing quite open, a lot of spread damage across all these mechs as the Crusaders get in. And
Stalker's leg.
Yeah, Kameni's going down
Yep,
here to this Crusader
caught in
push.
the open.
Yep.
Crusaders did take some damage. One of the Crusaders is almost legged,
Yes, that are Leia. Yep.
but there's a good
So
spread here.
Eleanor Volt holding off. Deus Volt looking to finishing off those legs. Leothandra might be going down. Yep. Deus coming in here on that, and the other Crusaders
Oh,
holding up. Meanwhile,
please,
that
on the
Cyclops is
Cyclops.
getting.
Cyclops is getting eaten alive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. How'd that one go down? Legs again. Here's that focus fire. Drake and Goodall just kind of tucked away in the corner. Deus taking advantage of that, but the Doc and Night Stars going after Volt here. Volt open leg. Eleanor giving him another target to shoot at, so they are spreading that damage between the two of them, and it's kind of working out. Against who's our main offender here? Unbraid Dancer. How you looking? Almost leg there, one touch leg, and
Yeah,
here's Gussie
Corsairs,
taking the high ground.
Corsairs open both legs, but if they can keep them shielded, they've got a lot of armor remaining on their torsos. Just need to find a way to hold down a little bit. Audacious being
Deus
focused now,
open
caught out in the
side.
open.
Yep, one touch side torso on that. That's going to be a big heat cap there. Drake just leaning into Deus there, but Drake is one touch on that
Yeah,
leg. So if
Drake's
Deus can get a
pinned.
different angle here.
Needs to
Yep.
just kind of stop trying to trade with the snub-nosed PPCs outside of way outside of optimal range.
Yep. So we got Naf getting stuck in this low ground here. Gussie
Oh,
taking that
Goodall's
high
leg as
ground.
well now.
And if you see way out in the back, we see a flea taking Sigma just to rub it in.
What a tryhard.
Sliver capping Sigma, probably going to Theta, my guess would be, but keeping those caps ticking. All Deus goes down here.
Yeah. Took a while.
But
Night
yeah,
Star is
but
open Umbra Dancer or Umbrella Dancer. Both legs,
Umbraid.
one leg gone, one leg open.
Or Umbral, that's not an I. Sorry, my bads are dead. Umbral Dancer, that is a shadow dancer right there. Yeah, we've got three-legged mechs here. Kiwi Mancer is cooking himself. That's where that damage is coming from.
So
Just trying to shut down the Gussie traders.
Kiwi Mancer's cooking. A lot of heat damage on that mech, but otherwise looks relatively healthy at 73%. So the Crusaders are going back to counter the Flea, maybe get some cap control back, but the Flea's, the Crusaders are legs, so the Flea's able to just dance around them. And you
Yeah,
wouldn't want to
Flea's doing
split
flea
up.
things.
I mean, either of those Crusaders gets caught alone,
Let's
the
see
Flea
here.
could probably finish him off.
I don't know this name. Pemo getting some shots on there. So yeah, here we see Gussie using that high ground.
No.
Goodall going down. Drake probably next, looking at that angle.
Team
No,
Drake
maybe
is
not.
so low on their legs that they're already showing as missing on my screen.
Oh, let me take a look. Oh, yes, they are. Oh, one just popped in. Some damage was taken. Y'all saw that.
That is a highly
awesome.
damaged mech.
Yeah. And Neon in the Flea is looking for that kill. Let's people look on Neon here. Are we gonna cap it? No, we're gonna come down the backside.
I mean, is that Flea even damaged? 77%.
Yeah, 77. Yeah.
Leg is open. I guess
spread
there's
all over.
reason to be cautious.
Oh yeah.
Might not know how wounded that Crusader is.
So one touch, it should be dead. Even the overlays agree. There it is. Getting that pick. Got to dodge the friendly lasers, but they got it in the end. All right, who we got left? Umbral Dancer here in the Night Star.
Yeah, there's nothing that can catch that Flea anymore. But Night Star's making a push. Crusader has an open leg, and then the Corsair was already open both legs a long time ago. So now open center torso as well. This Night Star trying to get up that slope. Once they do, if they're looking left or they're looking right, they should pick up a quick kill, but they'll also be getting shot in the back.
Yep, Pamo coming in CT open, pulling back with Volt and the Corsair waiting for the angle.
Yeah, Kiwi Mancers,
which apparently doesn't come.
Getting they're back into cover, so picking up the kill. And do they know where the Corsair is? Looks to me like they do.
This is yeah, so even if Gussie loses this on kills, I think they've got it on cap. So this is you get a slower game. Oh, actually, we're running a 15-minute timer here. It should be 12 minutes. That's my bad on that one. So technically, they've only got 2 minutes left here to do anything. So looks like Neon's going to try to get Kiwi Mancer off the field.
Yeah, the Flea's got maybe a chance here, but they're getting shot at by both of these Night Stars, which you really want to engage one at a time here. Kiwi Mancer's been legged, so that Flea is now just booking out 56%. Probably best not to re-engage and just go for the cap win.
Yeah.
Both of those Night Stars
Um,
are legged at this point, and 3 caps are running in the favor of Gudron
I'm gonna
Synergy.
Since I've been running these at 15 minutes, I am going to try to reduce this
It
about.
won't even matter. The caps are going to take over to
Well, it is, but
750.
at 3 caps,
But
it's going to take forever. So I'm going to open all caps.
yeah, this is just kind of speed it up a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. Normally it would be a 12-minute timer. This would be over in a minute. And rather than waiting on a 3 cap to take over to 750, we're just gonna
Yeah.
open up the caps here. If the players want to take them.
One of the Night Stars limping over to Theta, and the other one's going for Kappa. Still going to be a cap win for Gudrun Synergy, but just trying to make this go a little bit faster here. Outcome's already no longer in doubt.
Yep.
How is that fleet looking? I'm trying to get it pulled up here. Leg is red and open, and the other leg is red and armored. So heavily damaged, still mobile, but at 56%, there's not a lot of combat left in that mech.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where. So this is a little bit of my brain fog from last time, where the win comes out. I'm pretty sure whoever has the most resources at the end of the timer wins.
Yeah.
If it doesn't hit 750, so
Yes.
so that would technically be a Gussie win at this point. Well, we maintained the 3 cap to to close it out here, but
Yeah,
so
it'll be over in a couple of seconds. Yeah, the Night Stars doing what they can to try and stay in the game or stay in the match. Not much they can do though with their mechs legged, and it does go the way of Gudron Synergy.
All right, now we are going to swap side. We're still doing okay. We can probably get another match in or so. Or should we just move on to our light drop here?
Up to you. I think these teams are prepared for whatever we're going to end up doing.
Yeah, we're coming up on time. Okay. Well, let's consult with teams.
All right, so I've got the damage pulled up on the screen. We've got 1,000 damage out of Kiwi Mancer with that Daka Night Star. 600 damage out of Umbral Dancer. Sorry, I need to learn pronunciations. The Crusaders, their push kind of got cut to pieces. Beefy Supreme and Cyclops got picked off by a flea coming in from behind, shooting the legs there. Of course, they're doing pretty good from Vault at 800 damage, and overall a little bit higher damage numbers out of the rest of their team relative to the average damage on NAF. Although it didn't come down to damage, it came down to caps. So a little bit of a preview on what to expect for a high tonnage drop on a larger map.
Yeah, so we're gonna end up swapping sides here.
Okay.
So we're gonna run this one more time from opposite sides.
Yeah, so going through one more time on the same map. Why not? So they're playing opposite sides, and they're also their drop decks with the limits as to chassis. The Crusaders are no longer available for NAF. They've used up all their Crusaders now definitively. Stalkers, 2 are gone on the side of Gudron Synergy. They can still bring a third. They still have Annihilators. They could bring 2 of those. They could bring more Corsairs. And the Night Stars, that was a DACA push strat there from NAF. They won't have access to the Night Stars, or more than one. They could do 2 Cyclops, or no, they're restricted to 1 hero per drop as well. So they can't even run 2 Cyclops with 1 Night Star. They could run 1 Night Star, 1 Cyclops, and then I don't know what their third DAC assault would be. But they'll definitely have to change things up with the Crusaders no longer being available. I'm expecting them to take a faster element, as they've been kind of focusing on that. Maybe they'll bring the Phoenix Hawks this time around and just bring Annihilators to pair up with it, change up their strat.
Yeah, so we're going to be running this a little close. We're probably going to miss our pregame for the next one, but that's fine. Going to reduce the timer for these teams to 3 minutes so that we can sort of get on with it here.
We'll have to make a note to remove that back.
But we should start our next match on time, which will be that is our Avens versus EQ match. That's coming up fast. All right, looks like Gussie's getting in position. All right, let's see. So we're looking at the Alpha Charlie split there. What side is that mostly on? That is on your team 1 Alpha Charlie. So that's kind of low ground. Maybe some high Overwatch there. Let's see what Gussie's up to here. They are plotting and scheming.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, looks like Team 2 might be ready to go as soon as we go. So that is good. That'll work out.
Yeah, there probably isn't going to be a whole lot of drop deck considerations here. I think both teams are more or less just going to run the same strat regardless of what they're seeing their opponents do. You know, with there can be a little bit more with Intersphere Coalition in terms of you can track what your opponent's mechs, what they're using up, and that does limit their strats going forward. You can kind of maybe start guessing alternative strats they might be using based off what's been eliminated from them.
I'm wasting no time. Sorry, we're just going into it, just trying to catch up on
Great.
time.
I mean, teams aren't really playing for anything at stake here, so other than their pride.
Yeah. We're just having fun here, showing off what some of these drops might look like. Something to be mindful of is usually there is one more drop, which we've been calling the light drop. The light drop is a limit of
100, I believe.
Let's see here. Yeah, that sounds about right. 200 to 250 tons. No lock-on weapon. So that is what we're skipping today. That would just ends up being a quick leg fest usually, but we're trying to mitigate that, make that a little more interesting, I think, especially putting it in at the end might change some things. But here we've got Goodall in the Flea, Beefy Supreme in a Stalker. What are we looking at here with those ER large, Night Star, another Stalker, a Boar's Head with some large pulse. So yeah, we're looking at a triple Stalker deck here on NAF.
So they're going for the high ground here for Gudrun Synergy, or sorry, I'm looking at NAF. I'm sorry, I got to go look at the other team. Blue
Okay,
team.
I'm halfway there already. Okay, you got it. I'm looking at 3 rough houses.
Roughneck with ER large.
Yeah.
So quad ER large on the one with, and then the other's got some ER large with ER meads. Stalker, they brought their third Stalker. Crusaders got ER PPCs for them. So yeah, one of the Roughnecks is large pulse lasers. So they might be playing that one a little bit closer range to buffer for the others, or maybe somebody didn't get the build memo. And then they've got that Marauder with the ERPC and Gauss rifle that is a big pinpoint damage.
I'm sorry, I just caught in the chat. Ralphie No Pants, the lore for this map is lots of Robitussin. That might be the comment of this stream here. That's incredible.
Yeah, Robitussin, yeah. So okay, so we got that Night Star, and they brought some Stalkers. So they're going definitively strongly in the high ground here. Even the Atlas with the large pulse is going high ground. So
yeah. Here we've got Gussie moving slower into the high ground, still having no contact. Unsure if Neon's seen it, but we've got some blue lasers now. They know where they are. Neon's starting to push with those ER peeps and smalls.
They're going to be fighting through this channel here. Gudron Synergy making a move toward it. They've got ERPPCs, maybe do a little bit of Pop Tart, but
Yep.
this is
Odd-
basically a shooting gallery here.
Hang on, where'd Audius end up that he's down at 81% here?
Oh.
Oh, down here against the traders. Yep.
Oh, went for the cap.
Yeah, with some open back going on here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be isolated against a flea pilot.
Yeah,
Regardless of
he's
what
not
mech I'm in.
quite isolated, but he's also got trader pressure from the end. Audius is in a bad way there. If that fleet keeps going. Now Leothandra in the Boar's Head taking up position here, trying to get some trades again. Yeah. Here we go. Drake getting the trades against Neon there. And here comes the
Here comes a
channel
push.
Here we go.
I mean, large balls on the Boar's Head
Leothandra.
can push, but the Night Star as well.
Oh no, Kiwi. Right into Leothandra's back. Oh, but it didn't register. All right, well, fair enough. Here we go, holding it up. Leothandra holding with that center torso.
Oh,
good. All the
Lee
fleet goes down to
killed in
Audus.
the background.
No longer an issue. Audus gets out at 43%. Leothandra down here at 67%.
Atlas is taking
It's
some
just,
heat damage there. Needs to back off, try to cool down. This channel is very hard to push for both teams, but looks like with the flea down, Gudron Synergy is probably feeling a little bit of pressure here. Make a move.
And I think they are just making that move. So we've got Ivan coming up top here, looking to get some shots. So what this is going to do is push them out of cover and into their traders across the way. So Audus and I'm not sure who else is over there at the moment. Looks like
they probably want to start moving up, but
I don't think they need to. Yeah, see, Audus getting Leothandra. It's this crossfire that they're getting. So they want to hold them here and push them out of cover. This is a wicked crossfire that's happening right here.
And NAF is just not set up to make the push here in the channel. They're at a disadvantage with build wise if they try to make this push.
Yep, and if they try to go over the top, they're gonna catch it in the back from the traders.
Now the Night Star's still up, so maybe they just need to push with the Stalker shielding for the Night Star, and the Night Star putting out the DPS.
Maybe it's kind of looks like what they're set up to do here. Neon down to 40%. Let's take a look at what's happening there. But yeah, losing that flea actually pretty critical.
Team Drake's taking damage from the low ground traders.
Yep.
Definitely, you want to be trying to deny sight lines if possible. But Kiwi Master's now shifting focus to shoot down into the valley.
Yep. Drake could be shooting Ivan, but and likewise, Ivan now finding it. Oh no,
Drake's
Drake!
Been halved.
You could have shot him, yeah, but instead Ivan gets the
UAV.
Long time to turn around and badness, yeah.
I mean, Marauder's got ECM. I don't think stealth armor. I don't think is going to be on there, but does get the kill on that stalker. And Night Star is now making a push. Center torso is open, going in, guns blazing, trying to focus out Stalker's remaining leg.
Yep, just needs one touch, and he's going to get it at the cost of Beefy Supreme. Occulto pushing in here as well to go against Tank.
Tank is just going to get disconnected, maybe, or powered down. I think disconnected.
Yeah.
Does get
although I'm looking at
some
heat damage in there, so it very well could be powered down as well.
And it's just down to the Stalker who's been halved, so that's going to be a very hot build. But facing off against a Crusader with an open side torso that's been legged, probably not an extra light engine on that Crusader, but it might be. Probably have to try and check that, and does not get the opportunity. So it was a high ground clash, and the one team had a side flank, and if the opponents had been set up to push, that side flank would have been a liability, but opponents were set up to trade, so the side flank managed to put in a fair bit of work. Just waiting for the caps to be flipped over here.
I'm going to start swapping overlays out while they do, so sorry for the static view there.
Once
but
Epsilon's
we are
been
set up for our next.
Once Epsilon's been flipped, this will end. I mean, other than that, it'll keep going for quite some time.
Yeah, that's going to be all caps are open at this point too, but they are.
Yeah, they're going for cap, but not Epsilon. They need to go for Epsilon to end this faster.
Yep. Can you throw them a reminder that all caps are open now, without penalty? Not that there would be a penalty. I mean, we're just hanging out here. And,
yeah.
Yep. Let's see. EQ and Amen.
They don't have any speed remaining to go for that Epsilon cap.
Yeah.
Command confirming that we have possession.
There
of
it is.
Kappa.
All right.
And a big thank you to
Dramatic
both the
zoom in.
teams that played in our Innersphere Coalition exhibition here, Gujon Synergy and NAF, kind of a last minute time filler that we went for here.
Yep. 709 for Kiwimancer on that Night Star. 600 for Ivan the Terrible and Tank. And where's Audeus at 326? Probably lost some weapons. We never looked for that. All right. Let's bump this back up to 15 minutes, booting everyone. I don't even know what screen I'm on. I'm probably on the match screen. All right. No, I am. Yeah, I'm on the match screen. That's fine. You just watch me mercilessly kick everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to
there
go
you
ahead and set up the map select for the next drop or the next
there
match.
you go. Yep. So let me get both teams in here. So I need. And all right. So we are moving on to Equilibriums versus Aben. I'm going to go ahead and set us into the map ban room we're at. And it's GRAM. I'll throw Molly in white as well, just to. Molly's in training. All right, so they're probably just finishing things up. All right, so as soon as we get the other team in here, we are off to the races. I think our scoreboard is all set up for the moment. Excellent. We're about ready to go. All right, now, we got Bacon Lord and Django with us. I'll get my overlay set up for that. Welcome, everyone.
Hi. I think Django went to grab a snack. He'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, you know, I approve of snacks. That is a good thing.
I'm sorry, you guys haven't had a chance to get a snack.
Yeah, who says we haven't?
I'm eating a little piece of pizza just for you right now.
Ooh, I appreciate that. It's going not directly into my stomach, but it's fine. It's the thought that counts.
You can live vicariously through me.
That's right.
Yeah, so we've got a match coming up here.
Hell of
It's
an
the
intro. Yeah.
winner's bracket, and this will determine who is going on to the grand finals. The other team dropping down to the loser's bracket to play against the 5th Jaguar Dragoons, who won the earlier match today. Spoilers, I guess. My apologies. And the winner of that match will bump back up to the grand finals. So, both these teams are guaranteed at least a 3rd place finish. And one of them is guaranteed to get into the grand finals, finishing at minimum of 2nd place. And the other thing that they're playing for today is a second life, as it is in the grand finals. It's a double elimination tournament that extends to the grand finals. So if the team that wins today and advances to the grand finals ends up losing the first first match of the grand finals, they do get a second match to try and redeem themselves. Generally, that's not needed, but sometimes it is. It was always
Historically,
nice.
it's not happened.
Yeah, it's happened once. It was 2018.
Oh, okay, so different.
I think it was was that before? It was one of the World Championships that was at MechCon, I think, but they did end up playing. They ended up losing the first grand finals and won the second one, but it's a very rare scenario. It's
a lot of drops.
Yeah, generally, if you can win a best of 5, you can win 2 best of 5s. But in that case, they ended up losing the first best of 5 and came back and won the second best of 5. That was also a situation where the 2nd and 3rd place team, because they're playing at the World Championships, they played their 2nd, 3rd, or their match off, and then the team that won that had to go play the first place team, ended up winning it, and then had to play the place team a second time and end up losing. So they had to play 3 matches back to back to back that day, and they were just exhausted at the end. It's happened. I don't think it's happened in the online only era of the championship series, the MWO comp era. But it is an advantage that the teams are playing for in this upcoming match, just having that second life. Haven't generally seen it needed, but it could happen.
It would be cool to see it happen.
It
For sure. It would be interesting to see.
Yeah, you can get way more drops that day between the two best teams. But typically it doesn't. Typically there's one team that just is a little bit better, and you don't end up getting that situation where they're that close.
Yeah,
Alright, so
and then we
we've
have.
got-
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so we've got an order here of Vitric, Hibernal, Crimson, Mining, and Polar last. We're choosing sides now.
They've already gone through, pick their maps while I was talking there. My apologies. Vitric Station first, Hibernal second. This is very similar to the previous one, except they're doing Crimson Strait as the third map, and then going to Mining Collective fourth, Polar Highlands fifth. So Crimson Strait, one of those maps that frequently gets picked a little bit lower in the rotation. Teams don't really. There's perhaps a team 1 or team 2 difference there where teams don't want to have to give their opponents the opportunity to choose a team side.
All right, so we're going to start off EQ Team 1 for Vitric and Team 2 for the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
Which makes it kind of nice and easy.
Need to remember one lobby switch there. I will try to
That's all right.
do that.
That
And,
puts EQ Team 1.
No server switches here. They're all going to be playing on the same servers. That helps out a little.
All right, hang on. I got to swap the sides here real quick.
I'm going to go ahead and pop up the map room here for Vitric Station. I don't know if there's anything we want to discuss on that. Drop deck composition even.
Well, there's a couple things that both teams can do. This is kind of a match that both teams, if they've been sitting on strats the whole year,
Yeah.
they probably would use it now, sort of a thing. So I would say earlier matches, you're probably going to kind of see the same cut and dry type strats because it's a safe way and you're not exposing like secret tech that you developed or whatnot. So we could see new things on this map. It would be really interesting to see from both teams. I think that maybe this high spot that both teams can play, and Pop Tart from, might be a spot that both teams play, which would be interesting. Because if so, those mechs might be trading with each other, and there might be a fight going on somewhere else. So it just kind of will just be interesting to see what happens and how each team plays. I don't really think this map is learnable per se.
You know, we haven't seen Worms in quite a while here in the championship series. We did see mass ATM summoners earlier in invitationals, but perhaps there's been some meta shifts or something of that nature. I haven't seen anyone crack that out in a while that I can recall, at least. I mean, there's been a lot of comp, so I might be incorrect in that, but I don't. Yeah, I just don't smell Worms out of these teams.
It would be quite the occurrence, though. Worth many a Twitch clip, I would think.
Just trying to remember which team was it that was doing the ATM strats. It was during the invitational knockouts or invitational seedings, I think, even. Was it Casterian Guards that was doing that? I think it was, but then they haven't been doing that the last couple weeks. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't expect ATMs or Lerms.
Django might be back. Are you back, Django?
I am here. I just
Hey,
didn't want to
welcome, Django.
disturb the discussion. Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Hey, you're
Yeah,
part
so
of the discussion
Django's-
now.
Yeah, Django's gonna join us in the meta panel. Are they ready yet? I can't see.
No, they're still
not at all,
working.
Not at all.
Nope.
I expect both these teams to basically use like their 5 minutes, so there might be some time between drops. Django, do you think that there's any shenanigans or any weirdness, or what are your thoughts on Vitric with both these teams playing Vitric?
I think they're gonna
Oh,
try to
you have the match
outcompete
strat,
each
by the
other.
way?
No, could you link it?
I got you.
I think they're gonna
I got
compete
you.
each other. They're gonna compete with each other on who can come up with like the weirdest long range positions. I think both teams might use. There's always the option that EQ brought up recently with the high strap on the pillar on Citadel or
Yeah,
whatever you
putting
wanna
next
call
up
it.
there.
And I think we're gonna see something a little bit unique.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting trade positions on this map, on the outskirts, on both sides, that you can put traders on.
It's been relatively unexplored in the games that we have seen, but I can guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing how EQ plays, I think they're constantly looking for new places to play from.
Where I've seen
Mhm.
those side positions played so far in the top 12 would be when teams were facing against KDCM's team, and they were using side positions for receiving the expected brawl push, which inevitably happened. I believe it was both Casterian guards and Mechangers were using those side positions a little bit against KDCM, but outside of that, I haven't seen them used at all. It's a very exposed position for trading, so I don't know who's going to come into play here. So you're talking about expecting range trade out of both teams. Equilibrium, I think, has shown sometimes that they are willing to take the brawl push. Out of the two teams, if somebody were to go for that brawl push, are you thinking it'd be more Equilibrium or Aubins that would be going for that?
I don't really see Aubin's NSR. Like, are you thinking like NSR or like a push?
Like catapults and
That's NSR. Okay.
full push.
Probably more or less out of EQ if that did happen.
But you'd
Do you
put a
think
low
Jago-
chance on that occurring here.
It
Kinda
could. I mean, 100%.
See, the thing is, when I've seen Equilibrium do it, I'm not sure if it's because they're saving their other strats against a weaker opponent, or if they actually think that is a genuinely good thing that they want to be doing against top teams. Like that's so far what we've seen Equilibrium is that for the most part, they've more or less outmatched their opponents in the two previous matches they've played. They've only played 2 matches coming into this, and against Fifth Jaguar Dragoons, they're playing more of a standard style, but with only 2 matches on their reel here in the top 12, I'm a little bit uncertain as to what they're going to be doing still at this point. I haven't. I guess you don't want to give up information you may have gained scrimming against Equilibrium, but I don't have a lot of tape on them outside of the invitational qualifiers, which were teams that they were generally a fair bit stronger than.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think they could. There's no point in not pushing. They could definitely do it. So
I mean, they've showed they can push.
they pushed
beat
against
Abbott.
5 JDX. So
That was in the 3rd drop against them, yeah.
yeah, they definitely have done this. So it's not like the thing with pushes. Both teams are almost ready. The thing with pushes is that in equal skill teams, the problem is that if you're receiving a push, you have like quite literally a very brief window of time to correctly react. And when I say correctly react, I mean like you literally have 10 seconds to correctly handle a push, otherwise you lose. Like there's no room for error on them, and it's a good way to catch like a team can play up and take wins off a much better team by doing this.
Yeah.
So even when teams are really good against each other, that just exacerbates that you're just stacking things in your favor.
And that's something that you sometimes see a team pull brawl strat out when it's not their normal style just because they think their opponents are better than them. But I don't see Aubins doing that here against Equilibrium. And I'm picking Aubins as the least favored team out of the two here. There might be some disagreement on that, but I don't see Aubins as doing a desperation push. That's not something of their style, I would say.
No, I think if Abbins pushes, it's definitely something they've prepared ahead of time.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. And speaking of which, let's see if they have because we are ready to launch. Do so. Get it going for this this rather important match. Winners bracket round 4. Winner goes on to the grand final. Gets to fight 5 JDX. All right, just coming in here onto the blue star map. Like they each, maybe we should come up with like map logos, like state logos in the U.S.
All right.
It'd be a wild time. All right, I'm hanging out here on the Avon side. We've got a Spider 5K with Salith there, with Crusader, Phoenix Hawks, Stalker. So this looks like just off the bat, without seeing any builds yet, this is looking a bit receivey tradey. Let's see, we've got Gauss and large lasers. We've got large pulse lasers and binaries on Chimera's Stalker. The Crusaders in here with large pulse. So yeah, this is looking like a kind of a receive deck.
There's some wild stuff over here on Equilibrium. The rival has
boy.
2 heavy large and a Hag 30. That is going to be toasty. And
Ooh.
that's all in the arms as well as weaponry. So that's going to have to find a way to find the angles. A lot of Hag, binary lasers on the Battlemaster. I would call this a mid-range drop deck for the most part.
And the blue lasers are opening up here. Pain Glove down 7%. Probably the biggest hit that happened there. We got G-Ram poking out on the chicken's foot, just trying to see what kind of angles here. And Avon's just holding back. Again, waiting for that receive. We got Shios up top.
Yeah. So it's
As,
ERPC
EQ
streak 2
pushes
on
the
that.
front.
So it's not that blood acid that we saw last week.
Yeah, and we see EQ taking the ground here. Basalt down to 89% in that Sun Spider there that we're talking about, just eating a strike right now. CT is a little weak. We've got Stimrog and the rival up top. Stimrog's usual place, not Stimrog's usual mech. Let's see here. Yeah, G-Ram and Pain Glove just kind of poking the side, seeing what they're going to do. As let's take a look at the caps. Yeah, EQ is going to take the cap lead. And even though they're losing trades a little bit here
Yeah,
to
ambush.
Avon, so let's see how this turns out.
Sunspider's taken a fair bit of damage there on Equilibrium.
Yep.
Nothing open yet, 72%.
Avon's light pack moving hard to their left flank here, just trying to get an angle. Spotted by Stimrog. Who unleashed with some heavy large. And here's the response: Pain Glove, G-Ram, and Chicken Man off to the right. Yeah, this is an interesting mix-up. I feel like Chicken Man's usually in heavier mechs, Stimrog's usually in the lights. Basalt down into the reds at 64%. Probably lost an arm would be my guess. No, just open side torso, almost ready to go. We've got a little bit of a light fight happening over here while the trades happen in the background. It's turned into a trade fight.
Bonson's dropped here, took a lot of damage, but they're joining the wolf pack. Not unusual for a Void to do that. The Hellfire being relatively fast.
And Bowser looking at poking the corner here in the Javelin and is doing so pretty successfully. Pain Glove, a couple of PPCs that way, but not too much. Bonson trying to find some angles here, coming up against Tios and Scout Derek.
Bonson's open center torso.
Derek, but yeah,
57%.
that's just about to click on that. Basalt coming around, being halved, but supporting this fight here, and not looking to get in the way of the traders. Ghosty and Nyan just looking to suppress Geo's up there in that Huntsman. What is on that Huntsman?
Huntsman was dual ER PPC.
Dual ER peeps. Okay, so just rocking some peeps.
All
right,
Derek
now we've
took
got
big
some
damage.
got
Looks
some
maybe
right
leg.
flank. Yeah,
Not yet.
Avon's movement on the right side here.
Derek's being left behind. Side torso is open on that Crusader.
Yeah, might just be holding back because there's some coverage there while their lights try a different angle. I think they're going to try to pick Basalt here. Basalt being, I think, probably ready to go CT. Yeah, a couple hits on that, or one good one. Salith getting a look, but G-Ram here in the Shadowcat is using that maneuverability to be pretty much everywhere, and that build to just trade and shoo people off like Salith we're seeing here, all in one. Chicken Man joining G-Ram against Salith here. Tios coming to back him up. It's a 2v2 fight here. We'll try to get some of that trading in the background. Let's see how it turns out. Develops Bowser coming in, making a 3v2, but Pain Glove making it a 3v3.
Yeah, Equilibrium's burned a lot of armor, but they do have the cap advantage, and they're slowly gaining map control. No mech's down yet.
Tell. I think it's probably about even on armor, looking at this without going into too much detail.
Yeah.
Scout Derek and the Crusader down to 60-45. So that's probably half.
I'm seeing that Marauder 2C at 93%. So that That
Uh-huh.
indicates to me there's one mech that is still quite healthy.
Yeah, and the trader, that's a big one. A lot of the healthy ones on EQ side are their light pack. What is Salith shooting at over here? I'm
Battle
not
Masters
entirely
opens center
sure.
torso from Neandir. Ghosty the Executioner. Nothing's open, but 71%.
Yep. It's Nyan looking at CT open. Yeah. We're looking at Aben's just drilling CTs here. Side torsos when they can get them, but a lot of CTs
Zeos has
as
been
they
halved.
pull
Still
back.
has 2 ERPPC though. They are stacked in one torso.
Yeah. And something to note, we are at about 430 cap tickets right now.
Yeah, it's
In the
not
favor of Equilibrium. If they can
not
hold on.
desperate yet, but they are starting to move up the Marauder, trying to get back into the main fight here. Mech Warrior Numbers or Konglord, I believe. Looking like they're grouping up to make a push here in the next couple of minutes, next 30 seconds to a minute, I'd say.
Yeah, it's getting to the critical point of them.
Yeah.
They need to
point.
move. Yep. Here we go. Salith
Bailiff
and the
is being
spider is
caught.
getting jumped by G-Ram.
Goes
There goes
down.
the spider. Oof.
Rear side
Scout
torso.
Derek should be next on their list. Like
You know,
Scout is ready to go in right there. I don't think they know he's
Crusader's
there
been
though.
halved now from Scout Derek. Here's the push at the ramp though. The Marauder's still moving up, but the push is starting. The Mad
Lizzie and that
Cat,
Mad Cat pushing up.
they're starting
Getting
to peak.
smacked down. Basalt finally goes down after
Eos on
having
the
been open
flank.
for a long while. Ghosty Nyan
Ooh.
also going down. And this is starting to tip the other way here.
Yeah, Equilibrium's being forced down. Stimrog's still up top, maybe being ignored. Has a big alpha, could put into somebody's rear.
Yeah,
Has been legged though
jumping
as they've
into
fallen
mech
down.
number. Stimrog goes down. So yeah, this is definitely kills, but we're
Caps are
getting up
still
there on the
ticking.
caps. And there we go. We're flipping Theta. That's gonna
Magic
be the
Pain
change
Gloves
here. Bonson
going
going
in.
down. G-Ram getting chased down here by Bowser. Getting a big burn on Chimera's back though. That's
Magic
a
Pain
big
Glove is
deal there.
almost double legged, but Teos is open center torso.
Yep. Don't forget to be checking out MWO Leagues 2 for Therexes, as we are now splitting here because I am chasing Bowser and G-Ram here and Zeos as they just sort of converge on G-Ram here. G-Ram putting up a heck of a fight though. Unfortunately, having to spread that damage and getting legged right there. I don't think G-Ram's going to be able to take another one here.
Legged is kind of over on that fight. I'm looking at the mislinks here from Chicken Man. Stuck with a javelin, still moving around. Both legs are open though. Bowser is no longer moving that javelin. Looks like they've been legged.
Yeah, and
Chicken
Zeos
Man,
at 44%.
It's
and
not
sit on the cap.
It's not quite one cap situation yet. I think it still needs a 2 cap for Equilibrium, and the
Yes.
mislinks is going to be very hard pressed to try and get 2 caps.
Yeah, and it's going to be 5 cap here for a while, so this is gonna be a big swing here if Chicken Man can avoid everyone. But I think they know
57%
where
in
he's
a
headed. It's pretty
mislinks with
obvious.
both legs open. The Dragnet's going to catch them and pick a leg. There's no way they can maintain 2 caps.
Yep. Here comes Teos. Around
Teos
the
is
corner.
open center torso. Chicken Man
and
could pick up a
doesn't get the
kill.
leg. CT Chicken Man might get it, but he is critically legged.
One touch remaining on Teos there. Just a small scraping would do it.
Yeah, but Chicken Man's getting it from everyone, and Teo says, no, you're not, and takes out Chicken Man. So that is our first one. Going almost
very close, but
almost
Obbins does pick up the first one. Yeah. The traders just didn't manage to buy enough time for Equilibrium. Needed to buy a little bit more time, slow down the trades perhaps if they could.
The Aben's traders out traded EQ pretty heavily there. And on top of that, the Huntsman on that top spot was able to literally, for the most part, free farm.
Yep.
Those traders that were playing on the close ramps.
500 damage from that. Lizzie with 770, Chimera with 702. Like that's 300 or so above the nearest EQ pilot.
It's a big difference. More than half, roughly.
Not to mention the Huntsman gives scouting info. You can just tell when they're going to peak, and the Aben's assaults can be ready. So EQ's assaults kind of got shut down there, but it was a very, very good match. Shows the importance of having the Theta cap, and Aben's was on the pressure the entire time with their wolf pack, and you saw how they were testing the waters, and they kept going back and forth until they saw an opening.
It was good movement from the light pack or wolf pack of Equilibrium there. I like the rotations a fair bit. Just applying pressure on both sides and maintaining that center of control on the low ground as well. But the traders bled out too fast.
All right, I'm on the map room. If anyone wants to do map stuff, I'm swapping sides, getting these teams ready for Hibernal next.
Here, basically, they just had, Abins was basically set up with, their 3 traders. Well, we had one up here, one on, yeah, exactly, where Django's marked them. And where EQ was, they were all stacked up on the ramps on the center. So in that spot, you have a tiny area at the peak, compared to these guys have a pretty wide angles. And the other thing I noticed is that they were getting striked constantly. So like one artillery strike is hitting multiple mechs over and over again.
Yeah.
And then from there, the majority of the fight was like these lines are. It was the wolf pack moving back and forth, testing each other and coming back, testing each other, and they kept doing this over and over again. At the point that the caps get to about 500, if you still have a 3 cap and you're at 500 points, things are looking pretty good for you.
Yeah.
Avens realize this. They push the Mad Cat up, and they go, okay, well, we know all these mechs are like basically one shot. I mean, even from the beginning of the match, like I want to say it was Basalt.
Basalt, yeah, and the
Was
Spider.
pretty weak. CT is already halved. Like their traders lost pretty hard.
Yeah.
And it was a matter of when they pushed over, they pretty much just cleaned them up.
I think the
Yes.
finishing move actually, Celis was trying to get an opening here, and Celis
Led
is
the
really
whole
good
white
at
pack.
going in the spider that has quite a bit of range, and he goes on the sides. And when you have your assault stacked on the ramps like that, he's shooting for free. And then EQ got the pick here, but it was like 4 people against 1. Abins had already been pushing up assaults, so Celis was actually trying to create an opening for his assaults to move over the ramp, and EQ couldn't react in time because their Wolfpack was all here, and I think majority of
they're
them
in the
don't
low
have the
ground.
JJs to get up.
Yeah, those,
Yeah.
because the Shadowcat could the Shadowcat make it up?
The Shadowcat could, but the Phoenix Hawk can't.
Can't.
Some of their other
Mistlinks can.
The Hellfire
But,
was playing low ground
The
as well. It
Mistlinks
had been
went to go grab
dropped.
Epsi. Couldn't even. They decided to.
Yeah, he
Go
just
get caps.
bounced. He just bounced and didn't even help with the fight at all. I wonder if that Mistlinks, instead of having gone Epsi, had gone up to help with this fight, because the Avens mechs were pretty weak. If the Mistlinks had stayed to fight, that
It's always a
might have-
tough call to make.
Yeah.
I think Equilibrium kind of made the call to drop. They lost 2 mechs almost instantaneously on that ramp push, and then kind of started dropping. So, I don't know
Wonder
if
why
another mech
Stim
up there would have
dropped, though.
helped. Yeah,
I think that was
that might have been a
accidental.
drop down as opposed to an intentional drop. I'm not sure if that was planned.
They weren't even looking at him.
Yeah, I was thinking they might get an opportunity for back shots. That's a very, very hot mech, though. I don't know what their heat situation was at the moment when they dropped down.
Could have been a bit of an angles thing too, just trying to get around that to support his team. If you're talking about the later drop, also it seemed to be a little staying moving so you don't get a really easy shot on him. Looked like he was struggling a little bit on those ledges a little bit.
It's a
So
rough
the
spot
bigger mech.
to play because, especially with a bigger mech like a Vapor Eagle,
Yeah.
even with a small, so even with the small mech up there, if you walk a little too far, the edge like sucks you off. You just like fall off. So
Yeah, we're getting into the. Actually, why don't we? Oh, there's Team 1 locking. Why don't we take a look at Hibernal next? Maybe talk about what we expect here. We can clear that out.
who has Team 1? Aben says the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, Aben's
Avens
Team
is
1.
Team 1.
I mean, I could see EQ just NSRing again. I could also see them playing back and playing trade and have another trade v trade match. What do you think, Chingo?
I think EQ's capable of everything. You can never just guess what they're doing. You'll know as soon as the drop happens.
Yeah, you'll pretty much know how the map should go just by looking at the mechs for the most part. Or if you see like missile pods or things like that.
That's like one of EQ's main strengths is you don't really know exactly what they're gonna do, and so it's impossible to prepare for everything. And if you try to prepare from everything, you're making more of a jack of all trades composition.
good at
and,
one thing.
Yeah, and that can kind of
Yeah.
go against you.
This is a learnable map.
Yes, it
There-
is.
Yeah.
I would be shocked,
surprised.
but it is possible.
I want Abins to bring Lerms. I want them to be like, yo, we won the first match.
Abins has
Just
brought
bring out
Lerms.
the Lerms.
Yeah,
Every year, I think, in high-end matches, they brought Lerms at least once, I feel like.
Yes, I would.
We
I
have
would
tradition
say.
to uphold. I'm all for it.
That was more grand final. No, they brought Lerms against us last year.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
On Canyon, and Hibernal is the
In
Canyon
the losers
of
bracket.
this
Yeah.
world.
Definitely in their
Hibernal's facing
wheelhouse.
Canyon.
I would
Yeah,
still be
for sure.
surprised, but it's a possibility.
Interesting, though, that Abins locked in Bravo Charlie with no mechs in Alpha. That looks like it could be a push.
Signals some Epsi side control, but could also be a fake out, and they could set up bigs in B3.
They did a push
Oh,
on this
sorry,
map
sorry.
against 5th Jaguar Dragoons last week, where they did a push along the ridge line with X-Pulse, Atlas, and some other mechs doing that high Epsilon push around on the ridge line. So those spawns could be indicating that.
We'll see.
All right, yeah, we will see. As both teams are ready, so we're gonna go ahead and launch and get into it. Hibernal drop 2 between EQ and Abins.
Just a quick note: Ghost was on the Bravo spawn, and I think Ghost is capable of playing the night gear. I think we've seen the night gear before, so could have spawned Bravo and might set up on the far wall.
Yeah, on the wall.
Something to maybe look out for. Huntsman.
All right, let's see. I am over here with EQ as I move uncontrollably. All right, I'm looking at Snub Phoenix, a bit of that brawly Highlander, heavy peeps on the Crusader. Here's that Huntsman. Looks like just going to snag a Sigma point there with Ghosty, as we were just talking about. That's Hag 40 on that one. And then some of the bigger ones, we got ourselves a Spider, the ER peeps on the XE, Hag Void, all that kind of stuff. What do we got on?
They've got
we got on
Hags
EQ
ER
side?
large on the Night Gear and the Marauder 2C, but they are running Goss and LPL on the Mad Cat Mark II Death Strike, and the Crusader is a mid-range vomit build. So looks to me like this is a kind of a standard mix of mid-range and long range.
Yeah, Bowser poking his head up, getting a little shot up, down to 95%. All spread damage, nothing major, but that's sort of our opening volley going on here. Stimrog and the Spider coming in, trying to sneak Theta, and I think is probably going to be nope. There we go. Gets a barrage from about 3 mechs.
Looks to me like Obbins was scouting for that push. They might have been thinking the Brawl push was coming based off their initial movement. Now they're rotating toward Kappa.
Yeah, both teams interestingly staying back. I think both teams looking for the receive on that. Here we're watching Stimrog trying to get the point. Might be about to give up on it or trying to sneak it, but Abins is keeping that locked down something hard. Got some fights over here with Shine Plasma and the Shadow Cat here. Working on Kappa. This is a 1 point to 1 point match so far, which is pretty surprising. But it's going to be Stimrog versus Geos and Bowser here. Maybe.
A little bit of a look
Bowser
at
pulling back,
Kappa.
Shine Plasma saying nope.
Both teams looking to take it, both teams holding back. Bringing in more members, though. They're rotating toward a Kappa fight.
Yeah, this is a lot of like maneuvering chess
Very
happening right here.
gauging,
Not a
very
lot
gauging.
of
Yeah.
engagement. Here we go. A little bit here. Bonson, Bowser, Zeo starting the push with Scout Derek behind them. But it looks like EQ kind of set up for it.
Both teams are rotating in their large mechs as well. Their traders are coming over for Kappa here.
Yeah, it looks like Abid's with a little better position right now with EQ having a mech all the way out on Sigma. They're getting into it, but here we got Chicken Man in the XE just getting focused down a little bit. Weak
Nothing
shoulder there, but nothing too
serious.
crazy.
Cap control's been
Derek.
flipped back for equilibrium. They're pulling out.
Scout at 46% and still showing yellow on that. That is everywhere. Those legs are ready to go. Scout Derek's going to have to play real conservative. at this point,
Oh,
not expose any
Imrog
legs.
is not moving right now. It looks like they still have their
Yeah.
legs, but they're at 74%.
Yep, escaping that that strike and trying to get out as we get some more trades on here. Nyan here in the Highlander, just looking for things to shoot. It's not the best position based on where Aben's distribution is at the moment, but she's getting some shots off here.
Theta's been
as
flipped.
Penglove and Ghosty are just kind of like hanging out here in the back.
Now 3 caps to 1. There's a rotation toward Epsilon as well, which make it 4 caps in the favor of Aubens.
Yeah, Equilibrium really kind of could have taken Epsi there, but decided to reinforce against the push, which is now going to be taken by Abens right now.
We have gained Epsilon.
So Equilibrium down right now 4-1, about to be 3-2. But that is still going to tick against them for quite a bit as we use Shine Plasma and Stimrog to make the Kappa flip particularly quick. And we're back. It looks like Abens has retreated.
Yeah, they're pulling out. Scout Derek, both legs open in the Crusader on this retreat. There's an open side torso on the Marauder. And Mad Cat's, 83%, a little bit of armored lead, not bad. They're shifting over toward Epsilon now. They're going to play on the ridge line between Epsilon and Gamma.
Yep.
They have Theta. If they can keep eyes on it, that will give them a fairly stable 3 cap.
Yep.
Looks like
Gotta cut over
Equilibrium is
here.
rotating as well toward Epsilon.
Yeah, Lanner over here kind of scouting the Kappa side and maybe about to sense the movement that they're shifting over. These teams definitely just going back and forth with each other here. Again, we're looking at what I would call earlier the movement chess of not a lot of heavy engagements, just a lot of maneuvering and trying to get it. Now, Aben's playing it a little better, getting that 3 cap.
Yeah. Equilibrium's a little bit slower on the rotation this time around. The Highlander 2C is being left behind in the rotation.
Yeah, and they're pushing in. EQ getting that Epsi point, which Tios is going to come in here with the Shadow Cat and try to contest, and going to do so successfully. Yep. But in the meantime, we've got this little fight going on over here by Epsi with EQ on the cap and making it happen a little bit by little bit there for Stimrog.
Stimrog leg is open now, 71%. Has to get off that cap again. Cannot get the flip.
But got it knocked down significantly. It's not going to take much. And we've got a sliver cap on Kappa, honestly. And actually, it looks like Abens is sending someone over there. They're just going to flip Kappa real quick. There's UAVs over it now. It's going to potentially give away. One of them just dropped just in time, but that's Bowser and the Javelin going over there.
Yeah.
As we get back to the center of the map.
That's going to put it to 4 cap again. Equilibrium's making a play for Theta, but it's going to be difficult to flip that with everyone overwatching it. Caps are at 400 to 305, so it's definitely time to make something happen here. And with Kappa being decapped, it's getting a little bit desperate.
Yep. And so Nyan on Theta there making some actually really good cap progress, but Salith gets in there with the spider and just a little bit of damage with those machine guns, and it just pauses that cap. So we're still a 3-on-1 at this point. This is really getting away from Equilibrium. They've got the mechs, but they don't have the caps. And honestly, I think more or less looking at these, I think Equilibrium has maybe the armor advantage, but like the caps is going to be a big thing. It's 2-2, so that's going to stall it a little bit.
Chicken Man had a shot at Bowser, but looks like Bowser managed to dodge that.
Yep, let's see here. Looks like Tios and Scout Derek are the ones getting the shots on Equilibrium at this point. It's just all spread out. We've got the team splitting the map east-west at this point.
But it's being flipped back again in favor of Aubens. It's 500 caps to under 400.
Yeah, that's and on a 3-2,
it's time to push.
Needs to get kills. Yeah, it's a push and kill situation here. Salith taking a little bit of damage as the retreat happens, and Avon's just pulling back. Avon's pulling back against the push. Push might be going over Theta, but
all right. Gamma and Theta both being flipped. This will put it back to 4 caps in the favor of Equilibrium.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
Yep.
So they're still safe with the 4 cap situation here if they can hold that for any length of time.
They have resource point.
Yep. All right, let's take a look over here. Nyandir at 52%, hanging out with GRAM on the Theta point. Nyandir open CT. That is really ready to go and dangerous against a team like Abens, who is perfectly capable and maybe shows a CT preference here. Salith just kind of sneaking around trying to do what he can. Zeus and the Black Lantern are trying to get some picks here. Maybe pick off Nyan as G-Ram pushes up in the Crusader against this line, which is just kind of folding into Sigma here. We might have a little fight over Sigma going on there, and Ghosty goes down in the Huntsman.
URAM's taking some damage running through the open, trying to get to that Epsilon cap, apply some pressure in a relevant portion of the map. It's 3 caps to 2 now as Sigma's been flipped.
Yep, and there's a fight happening over here on Sigma. Salith goes down.
Lizzie's
in that
open
spider.
center torso.
Yep, Teos Bowser trying to hold off Shine and Bonson here with Scout Derek. They're taking Lizzie out over on the other end, and it looks like they are going to hold Sigma off as they push Bonson and Shine Plasma back. Shine Plasma down into, looks like 28%, Teos at 47.
Nimrod's getting on Epsilon.
Yeah, so much happening over here as Equilibrium makes their move.
Epsilon corner fight could determine the outcome of the match with how close the caps are right now.
Yep. We got a Sigma fight. Oh, there goes Bonson. All right, so that is very much Aben's point there. Gonna shift on over here to the Epsilon cap as Stimrog starts to work on it. EQ with that 4 cap has really kind of caught up here. Chimera and Nyan are traded.
Magic Paint Glove, both legs are open on the Phoenix Hawk, but they're on the hunt here. Nobody's paying attention to Kong Lord in the back in a halved Marauder.
Yep. Pain Glove came around going after that, though. I'm going to try to shut that down. It is so close on caps right now. EQ had made their move and now has that 4 cap around, and it is now switched over. EQ in the lead. It is still 3-4.
Caps are at 660 each, but the cap is heavily in favor of Equilibrium.
Yeah, and actually there it goes. Kappa and Theta are now being decapped. We got a fight over Theta. Let's go take a look at that. G-Ram goes down to Bowser.
Did stall for a little bit of time.
Teos and Zeos on Theta are going to flip it.
I think this is it. I don't know if there's enough time. Bowser's splitting off to go straight for a cap, avoiding the fight here.
Yeah.
Magic Pain Gloves in retreat. The longer they can just delay any movement toward cap here from their opponents, gets leg near the Epsilon cap.
He just needs to hold that off. It looks like Zeos might be able to get it, but they're both sitting here. Yeah. It's no. This is going to go Equilibrium in the last seconds here. Yeah.
Wow. Pretty close on caps there. Equilibrium. They didn't group up and push like I thought they might need to do. They did find a way to find the caps with just some excellent rotations.
All right, let's take a look at that damage there. That went on for a while. A bunch of 500s on Aben's side and 600, 500, basically 500. Yeah, I mean, the damage here is more or less equal. Looking at Stimrog at that 87%, or not 87, 87 damage there is kind of really the outlier of the whole match. But everything else is more or less equal damage. It's just we came down to focus and timing on those. Swap over to some additional stats.
Just want to say that this game is a work of art. Not even gonna lie. I think this is my favorite match so far of the entire tournament.
Very strategic in the movement from both teams.
Both teams are playing what is more or less standard, which is you have your traders are trading, your wolf packs moving around. There's a lot of moving things at once, and it's less NSR type things. It's a higher level of gameplay in my opinion, and it's way more enjoyable to watch.
Like, this is a match I wish I had everyone's perspectives to watch. This is a match where like a single decision can impact the game, and everyone's micro and macro mattered this game. And if you watch the match again and you simply look at the mini map, the entire match, I mean, it was beautiful. This match was amazing.
There's something to note here on the administrative end. There was a 2-game ban on one of the players on Aben's team, which is now over. That player can come back here in this match. And it was due to inappropriate decals, folks. So pay attention to your decals on these streams. But we are back in. We're coming up on Crimson Straight.
I'm going to rotate over to map room there.
So who has team 1? Aben's?
Aben's.
Yes.
So,
Whose movement do you want to take?
EQ really likes this bottom side of the map because it's very defensive. It's very defensive. You can put a mech up here in this hill. You can have a trader here. You can have, traders here. You can have traders here. There's lots of spots. It's very defensive, and it's kind of like a natural concave as you come in.
Yeah, you can see it on the map. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see EQ playing standard, preparing for a push, and then pushing out once they see it's not a push. I could see Abins playing the same. I could see EQ pushing. I could see EQ. I had seen some mumblings that EQ is bragging about lerms on this map. I could see EQ bringing lerms or doing some weird mountain thing where you put a lerm mech on top of some weird spot.
Worms would be so weird on this map. There's so much cover. I'd be interested to see how
there
they work
is
that.
and there isn't. Depends on where you're at.
Historically, we've seen when a team pushes, the best place to receive a push is out in the water, which ironically is the worst place to be if you're getting lermed.
That okay, fair enough. A little bait with a push and then some lerm overwatch, essentially. Yeah, I could see that. All right, interesting.
It'll be harder to execute than other simpler strats, but I mean, it'll be impressive if that happens. It is a thing. Most of the map, especially around outside, is water. So if you bait out a push, get him into water and rain hellfire on him.
Last match was good though. Both matches so far have been really great.
Last match was a work of art. I'm definitely going to be rewatching that match over and
Yeah,
over.
it was. It took a.
Kind of hope someone on the team is recorded.
Yeah, it was
can see
really cool
perspectives.
to watch.
So on 5J, we record our comms and then overlay them over the caster's perspective to listen to the comms as they happened from the third-party perspective. And it gives you good insights on the matches, and it would be interesting if other teams did that as well and have like a video where it swapped back and forth. You can make some pretty cool videos like that.
Oh, that would be interesting. So something that we're looking at for the grand finals specifically is having folks in the same Discord here so that the casters can go and take a look at those comms. So not entirely sure how we're going to work that out, but that is in there. Yeah. So, but that is in the rules unless that changed last minute and I missed it. So something to look forward to, maybe an interesting perspective. That being said, as we're going through here, I have no idea when we'll just go in there. I think it's just grands. Yeah.
Okay. I would be interesting. That would be really interesting, actually, even for the elimination for the losers bracket. I think those two matches I think would be solid to do. Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I think it's mostly
an experiment with Game Awards. I don't know. I think there's a delay feature to bleep out comms on. There's a add-on for.
That
for
would
OBS.
be interesting. I have no idea how that would work.
You just have it set for your delay, so.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's like having to keep track of that and all that kind of stuff. That's going to be a nightmare.
If players struggle to not have decal violations, it's going to be even harder to have their in-game comms. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens here. So I'm going to talk back to this Crimson Strait on the map. If anyone's going to be making a play for Theta is kind of my question. Like we've seen these teams both playing very strong rotational games. On Crimson Strait, though, with that Theta cap being so off to the side, is that going to continue?
I think so, absolutely. These two teams always have someone sneaking around trying to grab backcaps in order to control the map and force pressure. I think we're going to see another match like that with the sway back and forth between their cap mechs.
So in that situation, Equilibrium having to use the saddle to access Theta, it's much easier to scout out
It's a disadvantage.
than Aubins with the Team 1 side having easier access. Now, is that something that Equilibrium is going to factor into their strat then, where they're expecting their opponents to make those rotations toward Theta, and they'll just throw a brawl strat in or something of that nature, or maybe they'll play Island and go for the Epsilon as their third cap instead of for Theta, or are they going to just be content trying to cross back and forth over that saddle, where it's obviously scoutable?
Knowing EQ, they're not going to be content staying on saddle, and they're going to make a play for the other side of the map. And what I can see them doing is they know they'll get scouted going on the saddle. So they'll give that information to Abins on purpose to get Abins to react. And
Okay.
then meanwhile, they push across island or Epsi.
So like a
They
bait
can
with
bait like a
2 or
wolf
3
pack
mechs,
movement. Yep.
and
Yep,
then
exactly.
just a push from island or something of that nature.
Exactly. If Abin overcommits multiple mechs onto Theta to block EQ, and EQ didn't invest as many mechs, EQ will take the mech advantage on the other side of the map.
All right, teams are ready to go.
Yep, and I'm going to go ahead and give them their warning, and we're going to launch into Crimson Strait. This is going to be our third match. We've got a win on each side. So we are at least going to match 4. And honestly, based on that hibernal work, I hope we see another match like that. That was
awesome.
Maybe not the most action-packed from a shooting mechs point of view, but for like, it's just big brain all around on that one. Absolutely delightful to see. All right, so we're hanging out here over the Epsilon point. Let's get a nice view of the map from this side of the cove. Man, there's boats way out of bounds on this map. Interesting. All right, so I am over here with Avens this time. Teos in the Shadowcat, Chimera in the Skull. Let's see, Void Incubus, there's our Blood Asp, and a Crusader. All right, so let's take a look at the Crusader. Let's see if we can get a sense of what's going on here. ER Peeps, Laser AMS, interesting, from Avens, with some large laser Gauss, the Skull in here with AMS. They are ready for Lerms on this map. Interesting. But they're setting up for kind of a receive, I think. What is happening here? Why we got dots?
Well, it looks like they're playing. So we've got ER Large on the Blood Asp and the Stalker for Equilibrium. Looks like they might be going island with those two. Shadowcat's got ER PPCs. They've got SRMs on the Arctic Wolf and on the Black Lantern, so that's a little bit unconventional. I believe this Incubus from Stinging Rog is also going to be running SRMs. That's something they've been playing this season. So this Orion 2C Skull, that's got Mask, it's got triple ER PPCs and an LBX-20. That is a hybrid of sorts, could end up rolling with some big pinpoint burst damage and the mask to get position, or they could just be content to trade. They're setting up underneath the platform right now.
So let's see, we've got Bowser also with AMS. Looks like they all, as many mechs as they could to bring AMS here, is just sort of scouting the platform, not really seeing anything. We got 2 mechs on the island with those blue beams just kind of working at it here, the Stalker and
yeah, they're very tight together.
Battlemaster.
Very similar positioning here. So in terms of trade angles, it's not extending all that much, but the Blood Asp is able to cover the Stalker with those micro lasers to protect against a light dive. Equilibrium's taken Theta.
Yeah, I was just zooming out, see who took that. All right, that's going to be Stimrog and the Incubus for Equilibrium, putting this caps over here, and we'll get over this little out of bounds area and take a look at this line here. So we've got a really nice line here from Avens, just kind of focused on the island. Looks like I'm going to call them the cap team for right now on Equilibrium. Probably not too many angles. I'm not seeing a lot of fire coming from them.
Yeah,
so.
They're pushing to take the platform. They're going to shove all their mechs up top on that.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at 90, or it's 69%. Catching back shots from Teos on this island as well. So these traders here are just having a hard time. And actually, it looks like Teos is the one doing the work on Nyan here.
Yeah, there's
and Basalt.
Very little cover for the Blood Asp and the Stalker with how they're positioned. Their team is going to need to provide them with some support.
Yeah, or Teos is just going to pick them to death here and making sure that they can't put their full attention on the platform, which is where the fight's now happening. We got Bronson Polycat up here on the platform with GM and Pain Glove on the mountain, looking to get some crossfires there on the Avens. Well, I guess that's sort of the main push. We've got a couple mechs heading over to the island to take care of those snipers once and for all here. And who's tangling in the back here? Stimrog and the Incubus is just
like
tangling with Bowser and Salith. Looks like got caught. Yep, legged, and probably going down there momentarily. There it is. Bowser taking that out. Now they get to come and join the fight. G-Ram looking a little roughed up here at 58%. as Avens just starts to get aggressive. I maybe to their detriment too. Looking at Scout Derek, Chimera, Lizzie, just all
Ooh.
dropping from green to various shades of orange.
Need some strikes
Um,
in here. They're very stacked up from Aubens. If
yeah,
anyone had a strike, that'd be very good at this moment.
yeah. It seems to be timed with the engagement of the snipers on the island there, which you can see kind of in the
Yeah.
background to this fight. And I don't think it worked out for them. They just took so many big hits from Equilibrium sort of line that they had here. Looks like Bowser's getting caught out on the bottom there. Yeah,
On
there
the
goes
island,
Bowser down.
Bloodass was down,
Nyandair
Stalker's
goes
halved,
down. Yep, Basalt's
but
going to be
the
going down
Marauder
there.
from Konglord is also halved, and Tios has taken a fair bit of damage. Side torso open on that Shadow Cat.
Yep, there goes Basalt. But I mean, at the same time, that's damage not coming in on your main fight, which is going particularly well. Salith and Zeos, though, going down, making this a relatively even game. EQ with the armor advantage here.
Yeah, caps
As
are
we
at
start to pull this
370
back a
to
bit.
260 right now, ticking in favor currently for Equilibrium, although Sigma's being flipped in the back right now. GRAM Shadowcat's been lagged. They're being left behind by their team, probably leaving them for dead right now.
Although for significant amounts of damage, knowing GRAM as well.
Wanson's
GRAM
leg
will
is
make him
open.
pay for it.
They managed to get over the saddle,
Resource
though.
point Sigma.
Yep. And who's out there? Scout Derek going down in that Crusader. Let's see, what do we got here?
Chicken Man's
Chicken
also
Man's
with
still hanging
GRAM.
out here.
Yeah, so they
Yep.
pick up a kill, actually. This is a pretty... They're both legged, but that is a big stack to try and contend with. You wouldn't want to peek into that. Lizzie, 33% making a move toward it. Open side torso, open center torso as well, and halved. So
Yeah.
starting to back up
Let's
instead of
see.
going for that fight.
Yeah, we got Chimera over here looking to move to maybe secure Epsi, cut someone off, and there is someone there. Polycat. I don't know if they see each other yet. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, this is probably the fight that matters. I think this might come down to caps in the end.
Yeah, and
Still quite some
there's a
time
flip
from that,
though.
but
Yeah, it's
there just isn't much mobility left for Equilibrium in this regard, where their two mechs are pinned underneath the platform. Lizzie's effectively pinned underneath the platform as well.
yeah. Polycat is their mover, and they are onto each other here. Not making a move for Epsi, so that's going to be problematic for Equilibrium. They need that cap here. All right, looks like Lizzie is starting to engage Chimera, and Polycat's going to move in here. Chimera, how you looking here?
Chimera's open center
CT,
torso.
yeah,
That's probably two shots from Polycat. One shot
yeah, with
hit
the
center torso.
SRMs. Yep. And Chimera backs around where maybe there's some Overwatch, but the Overwatch is otherwise engaged. Polycat choosing not to engage. GRAM going down in the Shadowcat, making this a 4v4 again. Lizzie laying into Polycat there, as Bonson and Panglove also joined the fight. Lizzie's going to drop here as Chimera kind of gets away.
Bonson's looking slow now, has been legged in that Hellfire.
Yeah.
But there's still legs on the Arctic Wolf and on the Black Lantern. So it is 4 caps to 1, and the caps are at 500 apiece. So it's definitely getting desperate here.
Yep. So Polycat and Panglove got to start moving towards Epsi. Chimera still there to work with them. Bowser still hanging out on the Gamma. Going to flip that one. The
Chicken Man's
caps
going
are
for
so
caps.
close. Yeah, they need
needs
those
to
caps
keep
at this
moving.
point.
It's a legged
Looks
Orion,
like,
but they need to go for the cap point.
Oh yeah. Mech Warrior and Chimera here. I'm going to keep an eye on them. They're sort of trading here, trying to hold on to that Epsi cap. They are, it's tough going for them, but they don't have anybody else that's shooting at them other than Panglove there. So I think Epsi will flip here in a minute.
Yeah,
They take
Polycat
care
leg
of
is open. But the caps are now being flipped. Arctic Wolf is open red leg as well. So it's too close to call for me at this point.
Yeah, Mech Warrior is holding on to Epsi though without any real contestation. I'm not seeing any fire coming back. Looks like MPG is looking to hold the point and get the point, avoid the damage rather than just getting rid of Mech Warrior. I don't know if he has a read on it, but actually Mech Warrior is pretty fresh. All right, Polycat moving in with the Black Lantern to deal with that. So I think MPG going to flip Epsilon. We've got some Kappa action here happening too. Tio's holding off Chicken Man here.
Eos is an open side torso playing very, very cautious. Chicken Man's leg, though, and at such a low percentage, they probably would go down pretty fast if pushed.
Yep, there goes Mech Warrior. Panglove getting that. So
700 cap points
or
in favor
Polycat
of
getting that.
Bobbins.
I might have miscalled that one. Interesting. But yeah, we're looking at. I think it's going to go Abins
Nobody's
on
in
Sigma.
position.
They've
Nobody
got
can go
enough.
for Sigma, and nobody's on Epsilon. That's
Yep.
the issue right now.
They've been able to flip Epsilon. They're still just they might have gotten legged out there in the water there.
Yeah.
Chicken Man
goes
taking
down,
it, but this is one is
but the
going to be enough, I
caps.
think.
Yep. Caps are
They need
definitely.
decaps. Yeah, there goes
There's no
Chicken
one in
Man
position.
and legged moving off to Sigma to try to decap that. Well, yeah, it's got to be on the decaps. There it is.
This triumph will provide us huge tactical
Took a little bit too
benefits.
long going for the caps. And it's difficult though when you've got that Marauder 2C on the island. They have such a wide cone of fire potential for controlling multiple cap points, and everyone's so close to leg, you don't want to go out in the open. But took a little bit too long going for those cap points. I would suggest there.
That being said, it is our second map going to caps. So these matches are nice and close. Mech Warrior out there on the island doing 800 damage. Unfortunately, or no, it was just enough. But yeah, just looking at the damage all around, no real standouts other than that. So pretty even match there on damage. It came down to caps and that movement that we were looking for as well. So let me send us over to the scoreboard real quick here.
Yeah, this series is seriously just an amazing series, and there's so much to analyze.
Two teams that are very evenly matched.
Yeah, but I think unlike the Hibernal match, I think this match had a lot of fatal mistakes that kept swaying the favor of each team. I think it started like with Simrog getting picked. Like imagine having a fresh Incubus or an Incubus that's still able to cap.
Yeah.
And then we saw the Abins move on platform, and EQ was very prepared for that movement and just instantly dunked on a lot of the Abins bigs. And then
They
it came
traded
down to
assaults,
the
though,
players.
so-
Yeah, they did trade assaults, but then at the end it came down to the macro decisions of the light pilots, and there was just a few clutch moments like Tios holding onto Kappa for dear life. I was thinking it was gonna get decapped. It was slivered, and then MechWarrior holding Epsi. I think those kind of micro and macro play like really saved that match for Avens.
Well, Tios also like Tios was up here on Echo 3 really pressuring these assaults, so they had to like go from looking here to looking here to looking here to
That was an
looking here.
excellent move.
That was literally the perfect skirmishing type of move.
I think MechWarrior also got up there with Tios.
Yeah,
in the
yes,
Marauder.
he was up
They
over here.
regrouped at some point. That's when they started to make those kills. But Tios was just harassing the hell out of them for the first like 5 minutes or more.
Yes,
I'm surprised they
perfect.
didn't send one of them to go deal with him. He was just getting free back shots.
They couldn't though because they had this whole fight going on up here, you know?
That is true. That is true. Well, he'd been needling them for minutes before that whole fight went on too. Like there was time. They just ignored him for so long, and then MechWarrior came along, and they'd had so much damage. It was a no contest basically.
The problem is with the Marauder here and all the Abins mechs up here. If any mech goes for a cross, that is a lot of damage you're gonna take.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, by the time MechWarrior pushed with that Marauder 2C, I think they were already halved, but there's no cover for the mechs on the island really with how they have to position because of the platform incoming fire. They kind of have to leave their back hanging. The two of them, one of them is going to be hanging out for either the platform or for the gap to get back shot there. Just a bad position for the two mechs to be trapped in. Don't really have the speed to escape, and their light mechs weren't able to make that rotation over to assist. Just platform push, not something I've been expecting. Ended up kind of cutting off the island from any light support when they were getting harassed.
Yeah, it was very interesting. We haven't really seen platform strategies where you take platform.
No, I don't think I've seen a single team from the Team 1 side push the upper platform. I've seen underneath the platform pushed, I believe, but not the upper platform from the team side. Oh,
It was very unique. They didn't even use their advantage of grabbing Theta without being seen. They never had their lights move to the backside. They were It was dedicated for platform, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, we talk about island controlling the cap points from the water, but the platform kind of does the same thing. You also establish strong control over the side caps around the water area. Next map up is going to be Mining Collective.
Drop 4, right?
Yes.
So Avians needs one more win.
Yeah, Abens is on match point here in their favor. So Equilibrium needs to pull up 2 wins in a row to stay, to get the match win.
All right, it's the 2-win warning on T1, so I'm going to give them a minute and a half on here in a couple secs. They are taking their time on this one. A lot of teams in these private lobby top 12 have been beating that 2-minute timer, which is quite impressive to see as a captain or a caster. These are words.
As a player,
these teams
sometimes
laid them down.
you're as a player, sometimes you're very prepared, and it's more or less just status quo. You like little pep talk sort of thing.
Oh,
And
totally.
other times, it's like you just got pushed, and you think they might push other things, so let's last minute, change things up, and you're using more time. It just depends.
Oh yeah, mind games are definitely happening right now.
Yep.
The big thing with mining is you can do basically most strats on mining. You can trade, you can pop tart, you can push, you can learn. I think you can learn. You can do anything.
Making enough with the lerms, please.
Right, I love them. My team won't let me play them. So, anyways, I'm being with repressed help. Long story short, every strat is viable on this map. The biggest thing is the lances are very telling. As a team captain, you're looking at Abens. They said they're locked. They have 2 in Alpha, 2 in Charlie, and 4 in Bravo. That is, I feel abnormal to have 4 mechs in Bravo. The more or less standard drop for mining is you have 4 mechs in Charlie, 2 in Bravo, and 2 in Alpha. And that's kind of like your standardish play. So having 4 in Bravo means that they want to be heavy on the buttons, that top left side, the Delta 3 area. They're going to be heavier there. So just gauging off that might be a push across here. That might be, maybe it's a juke out, and they have traders they're going to put here, and their light's going to run around. It might be a mind game. But if I'm GRAM and I'm seeing 4 mechs up top, and it's Lizzie,
Mechwar and Chimera, 3 assault
Chimera,
players.
that's all their salt players on top. Like that's something you can't just ignore. So I would be thinking like, okay, what are they doing with those salts up there? What's going on? Maybe do I need to change something? Do we need to change our lances? Because you get a little insight as Team 2 compared to Team 1 in the higher level players matches.
Yeah, there's a couple things. If you go for trading on cakes, I guess you could put 2 mechs up there. 3's really crowded, but maybe you could put a 3rd trader, out on the Charlie 4 corner perhaps. But it could also just be a push, as there is the room over here. The gap does align for a push over across from Bravo into Bravo. But if you see that push coming in the lobby, you can just not put mechs in Bravo. That option that T2 has.
EQ has very much the standard drop right now. So they have 1 trader in Bravo. So they're going to put 1 trader here. Polycat's going to be in a light mech. She's going to get Sigma and then scout this area. Alpha's going to have Neon. Historically, EQ has always put Neon right here in this spot. So I would expect to see literally the normal strat. You're going to have Neon right here in like a Marauder or a Direwolf. You're going to have Basalt up here in the black in probably like a Rifleman or something. And Chicken Man's going to be up here on this, and it's going to be Wolfpack rotating around. And they're going to be really keen on what is going on up here. So I would expect to see maybe a Charlie light go straight this way just to see what's going on. But essentially, just by looking at lances and players and how they play, I would pretty much predict that's what we're going to see.
All right. Well, let's see if those predictions are going to come true. I'm going to go ahead and launch these teams. They are newly ready to go. To drop 4. Mining Collective. This could, if Abens pulls out a win, this is it for the series. But if EQ pulls out a win, let's go match 5. And I want another match 5 with these teams.
I want a match 5 as well.
They're so good to watch.
Yeah, good showing from both teams. Looking forward to this match.
not much going on here. Just looking for a picturesque. There we go. As the teams come in, I'm on EQ side here. Where are the drop ships? Here we go. We've got ourselves Nyan and a Direwolf, Shining an Arctic
Command
Wolf
coming in.
E.
Capture and hold the
I
resource
want to see
point.
too often
Any
with
hostiles
some
headed your
SRMs and
way.
heavy larges. Basalt in that rifleman looks suspiciously painted black. Can't imagine why. Onsen in the Crusader with one binary and a bunch of close range weapons. So it looks like we're might be seeing some aggression eventually, maybe here from EQ, but
Enemy forces
a
have
bit
Sigma.
mid-range, if I would say anything. GRAM
Where's
definitely
Neon?
taking a more. Nyan is kind of
Theta is
They're
controlled
playing
by
their
the
normal
enemy.
strat.
way back actually.
All right,
Yeah.
so over on Aubins, we've got Hags
Yeah.
Ear Large on the Direwolf, the Madcat Mark II, and the Night Gear. And then Hunchback 2CA is Quad Ear Large. So this is not a push deck. Heavy PPCs on the Crusader, Snubnose PPCs on the Phoenix Hawk, and then, rounding out with Mistlings and a Spider. Spider's large X-Pulse with light machine gun. So could be a very annoying side flanker, but I'm not seeing a push deck.
Yeah. All right. Nyan's starting to move up here. From that initial trade spot, and now she's going to that spot right where you put her. So just a little bit of delayed development there. Looks like Aben's starting to take this north side of the map. Chicken Man needs to get out of there, or it's going to be bad news. And he is doing oh no, he's tucking in. Okay, little sneaky Chicken Man run here. As Scout Derek and Bowser pull up, looking for blood, but they're not going to find any. Will they settle for the Sigma cap? It doesn't look like it. They're just scouting out, trying to find where the hell is this trader that was over here.
They have resource
Chicken
point
Man
Gamma.
tucking
There we
in
go.
instead of crossing through the open. I've seen mechs get trapped in there, but I didn't think it was voluntary.
Yeah, it usually isn't. Chicken Man tucking in is interesting. I'm thinking he had some scouting info. Is like if you cross that open, they're just going to hop up and shoot the crap out of you as you cross, right? So tucking in and maybe providing some more resistance against Sigma here. And it's a 4 cap as well. I think we missed mentioning that.
yeah.
Yeah, they snagged a 4 cap for a while there. So I think it's just a delay tactic here. But Salith gonna pick that up for Avens
We've captured
as
resource point.
Attempt
more
at
training goes on here.
Theta. Eos is trying to go for Theta, being driven off.
Yeah, Basalt getting some good burns in there, as well as GRAM just taking advantage of that open side.
3 cap to 2 at the moment, but the tickets are also 120 in the
Yeah.
favor of Equilibrium.
Actually,
And they've got
speaking of tickets, I know there's a big fight going on there, but I think we're noticing the same. Stigrog in that fire, or that
Yeah.
spider, is going to go up against Mech in the Dire Wolf.
He's smart. He'll just cap it.
Yeah.
I think it's just a back cap attempt. But Chicken Man did attempt to come back up, got driven back down. The Hunchback 2CA from Zeos is trying to take top control, but not a mech that's going to do very well up close combat with Shadowcat and the Executioner, if that
Yeah, it looks
situation
like
develops.
Stim is sneaking in there, unseen, but did not commit. So we're holding off. Oh, never mind. We've got the rest of Avens coming back. I think maybe looking for him. An interesting shift, but we're going to poke the side. Polycat here in the Viper. Little on her lonesome here, but certainly enough mobility to get away.
Zeos is now attempting to run, has very little team support, but I don't know if, yeah, GRAM's now firing on them. Not sure if they're
Yep.
going to pursue.
Polycat pulling out. Stimrock's been out of the fight for a while, just kind of tucked into that corner. Not sure. I would love to hear what that communication is going on with Stimrock and because it seems like his business is caps, but he's just kind of like sitting there.
Yeah, Zeos is pinned at a cap point with very little team support, but nobody's got the information to go aggressive on at the moment.
Yeah, and then Polycat just kind of holding here. Looks like Scout Derek's gonna work on Gamma here, so that's gonna flip it over to a 3 cap on the Aben side. I'm not sure. I'm still looking at Stimrog out there in the distance and wondering what's going on there. Why hasn't he made a move? To pull that Direwolf off a trading point as well, even just to harass.
I think it would be a mistake to engage at this point. They're being very patient, which is a difficult thing for me to do personally, but I think it is the correct move at this time, just to play it patient. They are running caps in their favor, and as soon as Obbins makes a move, they can go for the back cap.
Yeah, now we've got Nyan and Polycat here against Bowser. Shine Plasma getting some shots in, so Bowser looking to get a cheeky Epsilon cap there. It's just so heavily in equilibrium
Check
caps right
Stimrock.
now.
He's been found. Check Stimrock.
Yep. Move to
Zeos
Stimrock.
is getting picked here as well. Ram's gonna clean them up, I imagine.
Yep, there goes Zeos. There's Stimrog with Mech and Kalith here. Yep, made his move, got the cap, or rather decapped it, and is running for his life here, pulling Mech Warrior off. Salith also off. Zeos goes down there as well in the background, but looks like Stimrog is going to get away here. Salith's going to give chase, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Mech Warrior getting some shots from Basalt all the way across the map, so probably like a quarter point of damage here. Now, on the other hand, we've got Chimera here, and the just got here for GRAM. It's jumping Chimera there, looks like not quite stuck in there, but
Caps are
definitely went
550
down
to
very
300
quick.
now, and it's going
Yeah.
back to 4 cap in the favor equilibrium. That is big trouble here for Obbins. They're down 2 mechs and they need to make something happen.
Yeah, like the patience play is good, but they've been needing to make some moves here.
You know, they're doing well on percentages, but they need those caps.
Oh yeah, and
Teos
with a
is
4-1
getting
cap,
shredded.
they don't have that much time. Yeah, Teos going down here. Scout Derek trying to back him up a little bit, but Salith did get Stimrog in the end. Actually, gave chase and got him. Chicken Man trying to lay some fire into Scout Derek. GRAM taking the kill there. Bonson getting Teo. So that's another couple down on Aiden side as they start
650
to
on the
make moves that
caps.
they have to. Yeah.
It kind of clean up here at this phase for equilibrium. How many kills they want to pick up before they win on caps.
GRAM coming around against Lizzie here, catching a faceful from Mech Numbers. Direwolf there is going to get Lizzie, or rather Bonson is, with that 2 on, and they're going to have to move on to Mech Warrior. I think, I'm not entirely sure what the play is here. It's just kills at this point.
Yeah,
there's no
full
way
press.
they're coming back from a 4. Like the kills aren't going to get them anything other than
Chicken Man, 50%,
50%,
center torso open. GRAM's critically wounded, but still trying to push forward.
Yeah, I think Kalith has a good option here on Chicken Man.
Man out of time.
There it is. All right, so that one goes to EQ. Really,
we're going to drop 5. Like this one was close as well. The kills don't look that close, but the percentages, the movement, this is a very close drop. These teams are evenly matched, and we have got winner takes all, best of 1 coming up here.
Yep. Just a really commanding win there by EQ.
Map control wise, I'd call it commanding, but percentages were very close.
They were, but I think at some point it became about that map control, right?
Yes.
Like the last 2 minutes were basically cleanup.
This entire series has been about map control, just continuously.
All right, taking a look at some of these
because the skill
stats.
level is so high. So
yeah.
everyone's good at their micro, and the macro is what matters.
A massive problem that Avens kind of had that whole match was I feel like they didn't really have a lot of angles, and they just couldn't. They struggled to get really any map control, whereas like they basically just had like this little bit of the map. They didn't have a ton of the map, whereas EQ just had the entirety, the rest of the map to freely move around, to get angles. They had Theta, they had Epsi, they had Gamma. They were trading and skirmishing on Sigma.
EQ played their strat very cleanly, and they show why they like Team 2 so much. Because their mech positions have been so perfect to deny the Theta caps through the walls, and I think you're in a Direwolf. So that is already a kind of a big advantage, and they're really used to playing this style. And then they had they had 2 Tits mechs, light mechs that were controlling Gamma and Epsi, and whenever Abins rotated back to their bigs, for example, Stimrog was threatening, these 2 mechs would be sure to take these 2 caps right away. So it was planned, and I think Stimrog played that very patiently and very well. There was a bit of like discussion of what he was thinking. He was definitely waiting. because he wasn't in a rush. There was already a 3 cap, and him being there for pressure is more important than him making his move right away and then kind of just being chased away.
Yeah, but my thought is he's not really applying pressure if they don't. Is he applying pressure if they don't know he's there? That was my confusion, because he wasn't necessarily making himself known to apply that pressure. He was just kind of hanging out. That's what had me scratching my head.
That was him
He
waiting
did,
for
he
the
did get
Kappa.
Kappa.
Yep.
He got
Yeah.
Kappa and then distracted 2 or 3 mechs that were chasing him around, and I don't think he even die at the end.
No,
He did. Yes, he did.
Oh,
Mhm.
he did.
Yeah, but
got
he
caught by
took
Salas.
so
Yeah.
long for them to kill him, and when they were chasing him,
I thought he was
EQ
dead for sure.
just
They should have formed a
collapsed
box
in.
around him.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
collapsed in. Like I would probably say that was very well played. I don't think there's anything bad about that. That was I don't want to say perfect, but that was exceptional play
It was a clean
of
match. by EQ,
of
very
knowing when to not, like,
Yes.
you don't
Mhm.
have to, right? Like that was fine. He came up, he saw it, and he thought about it. He's like, well, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
2 or
shoot
3
it.
times. Yeah, totally.
Right, and he's waiting for the moment. And I think maybe he got close enough to possibly test to see if seismic was there. Do I get noticed? Okay, I'm a little close. I'm moving. I didn't get noticed. And then at one point, he went for the cap and just went for it, and then ran. And I think it's out enough discourse that allowed them to just have Abens running back and forth. And with having the superior map control that EQ had, they just were able to run him around.
The pressure from Stimrog with all the mechs pulling back from Charlie 5 into Delta 4, it left Zeos abandoned in Charlie 5. It took a long time for Zeos to get picked, but they were pinned for a while, but they still had team support preventing the dive. And once the Stimrog pulled a couple mechs back, they no longer had anything protecting Zeos from getting dove.
I just wonder how that match would have been if Abens had some sort of Pop-Tart or Trader down here. Just something to skirmish or deny this bottom area, because they just, at the start of the match, essentially just gave the entire map at the start.
Even just to control Gamma, as the
Yep.
4 cap came into play a couple of times this last drop. We're going on to Polar Highlands. Do we want to discuss that one at all?
Ooh,
I think the last EQ versus Abens match on Polar was quite interesting. We saw like an XPL push, right?
Yeah. EQ has done like bomb pushes, XPL pushes on this map. I think people might have redeemed enough channel point redeems to get a cataphract. I don't know. Like, sick
Is
cataphract.
that what it takes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know. I'm just memeing, but like, this is a map that you can also do pretty much anything. You can NSR, like, these trenches are deep enough and are hard to scout that you can really sneak mechs around. Like a well-placed ECM Black Lantern taking its time and going through the trenches can get behind your team and you won't see it until it's shooting you. A Spider can do the same thing. If I was EQ, I might say, let's not play standard and let's take a risk. If I was in EQ's position, my mindset would be, this is close. These matches, we've been playing standard every match. They're playing standard every match, and it's too close for comfort. Maybe we pull out a wild card and try something different. They could both play standard and play it safe, but it's going to be close.
I'm going to mention that most of these drops have been coming down to caps, and now we are on the big map with the caps widely spread out. So, if teams just continue to play this rotational game the way they've been doing, this one's going to come down to caps as well.
It'd be ironic if this is the map where it ends in like 2 minutes to a brawl rush.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is if they decide not to play that
Yeah.
rotational cap game on the big map and they just go for a brawl push, that could be an adjustment based off of what they've been seeing, just to play something,
Exactly.
quicker, faster paced, and brawl up, just smash. And either team could do that. Honestly, I don't. There's a.
Yeah, because I mean, imagine what both teams are thinking. Like, oh my gosh, it's 2-2.
Yeah.
This style, if we play the style again, it's a coin toss. So both teams might be thinking, let's do something different.
The lances don't really matter too much on this map. I mean,
No, I don't think so.
it's negligible, but it's not like, oh my gosh, they're stacking Bravo on mining. Something's happening with all the traders. Um,
You can just get a sense of where the optimal paths are for the
Yeah.
most part.
I think it really comes down to, I think Avens will play it safe and play standard, because I think they're just going to want to keep going with status quo.
Yeah.
I think EQ could also do the same thing. Let's status quo and let's play this drop better than them. However, I know they can push, and they can push well.
I think
I
there
would
might
probably just do that.
there might be a
But,
slim advantage here for Avens in extreme range traders, perhaps with Chimera and
we have Lizzie, Chimera.
yeah. So
Like, they have excellent traders.
so they might be tempted more to play that extreme range receive, perhaps bringing a little bit more mid range DPS to buffer for it, just in case there's a push or if they have to make a push. I don't see them switching to Brawl Rush with those pilots on their stack.
And that's nothing poorly said about EQ's traders. EQ has good traders, but they are very, very new compared to Abin's traders. I mean, Abin's traders are people playing this game for a very long time.
I mean, maybe taking a little break for some of them, coming back after a few years of lower activity, but we're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So get these folks on the field for the final match of today, final drop of the day, the final drop of this match, and the decider between Equilibrium and Avens, who moves on. Now, that isn't to say that we might not see a rematch between these two teams. It's entirely
definitely
possible,
could.
and I would love to see it again. But we are moving on. We're gonna decide some things right now.
One of these teams making it directly into the grand final, the other dropping down to the losers bracket final, with a chance to play back up into the grand final. So, yeah, definitely a lot at stake here for both teams.
Yeah, this has been an incredible series. I think you should analyze every team should analyze this series very, very deeply, because this is standard play, like, to a T.
All right, I'm over here with Equilibrium this time. We're looking at Supernova. We got ourselves a Viper. This is a Platinum Supernova. His details don't matter. Let's see here. ER large on that. ER large. Void is H Gauss and medium. Mix of stuff on the Viper. Yeah, so we've got some, for the most part, pretty trady stuff. Let me just check one more mech here. Yeah, so we're pretty long range trade with a little bit of receive capability from Equilibrium. What do we got on the other side?
Mass ER large laser. They are all ER large, and the interesting thing is that they've brought AMS on a couple of mechs. So they're dropping a couple of heat sinks or something to fit that on. Fighter's a single large X Pulse. Shadowcat's triple ER large. Timberwolf quad ER large. Hag 30's ER large. That's the entire deck.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah, very similar on this side actually. So this will be a bit trady, I think. But yeah, interesting about those AMS. They had those on Christen too. So they are expecting lerms from Equilibrium, and they are not getting it. So that is wasted tonnage right there.
Yeah, playing it safe.
Not that they would know, but
they're not giving up
hindsight
a lot for it, but it is a percentage, if that even. But it is a little bit of something.
And it's on multiple mechs, so it's probably
there's
picking up at least 5 or 6 tons.
There's 3 or 4 AMS
matches.
across their entire drop deck here. So
yeah. All right, let's see what's happening here. So we've got one mech heading off to Kappa for Equilibrium, and looks like probably got run off, or who is that over here? I'm going the wrong way. Or is playing it careful. That might be Stimrog playing it careful. Stimrog with the Plations plays here. That is Stimrog playing it careful. We've got some Overwatch over there. Avens moving into Occupy Kappa, giving them the 3 lead. Now, that being said, GRAM taking over Theta. They took Theta and they ditched it real hard. So GRAM's just going to take it for almost free, completely free.
A little bit of incoming fire. Somebody had maybe a Pop-Tart angle with ER large.
Yeah. Not enough. So GRM's going to take it, and that's immediately going to switch back to EQ.
Equilibrium has less range as they're bringing a couple mechs with heavy large. This Arctic Wolf with the SRMs and the heavy large definitely has a range disadvantage to some of the mechs on on the side of Aubins, but I don't know if that means that they're going to get aggressive. And right now they've got the cap advantage, so there's two.
Yeah, and I mean it might help to hold or to skirmish against any lights that would decide to take the caps. But Theta actually not flipping.
Yeah, Salith.
Theta just getting decapped and Salith going in there to turn it back for Avens
That
and put the
spider's
pressure
got
on
a
EQ to do something.
cap excel, right? The 5V. I can't remember which spiders do and
Yeah,
don't, but
the V does. Yeah. That one's got like 50% cap excel, I think, unless they buffed it.
yeah, so that could end up mattering on a map this big with both teams deciding to play fairly stationary so far.
And that X, it's also got a cooldown, so that X pulse fires ridiculously
Yeah.
fast. So that's not a mech to be discounted.
No, it's definitely combat capable as well, but it does have that cap
Yeah.
quirk.
So here comes Equilibrium. They are starting to get aggressive. You see them sort of coalescing towards the north side of the map here. They're wrapping around, getting that flank going. And I think Avon sees them and is pulling back.
Yeah, we've
they're
seen this
getting
move from Equilibrium in the past. It's been very successful in other occasions, but there isn't much for them to get at the range that they're looking at here. The assaults are maybe positioned a little bit further back in favor of for Aubins. And
yeah, it looks like they're making
prepared for it.
a little bit of a turn going through Theta instead, trying to pick this other flank where the what do we got? Shadowcat and Sunspider are.
Yeah, they're gonna go for Theta, but there's a lot of Overwatch looking onto Theta right now.
Yep.
Eos down to 81%.
Got caught here. If you want to take a look
at
the edge of the map.
Oh my God, you're not kidding. I'll go take a look at that. We've got train head to the center, but yeah, we've got Salith and Bowser coming after Stim. I've never seen this part of the map used except for getting dropped off. Good Lord, it is Saber versus Saber. A little fencing match on the corner of the map here as Stimrog just runs for his life from Bowser.
I mean, this can decide the game, and Stimrog's probably calling that he has 2 mechs on him, and EQ might be looking to make a move now.
GRAM's playing aggressive on Teos' Sunspider, but GRAM's also taking return fire. Has no support with them.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the paper dog on Stimrog here as he comes under that X-Pulse fire. Takes a minute, and Abens, it looks like they're returning to the fight.
Being flipped.
They have been occupied for long enough.
Gaining a 3 cap.
Never mind. Salith holding Stimrog off. All right, hang on. I'm going to try to get a wider view here because we've cooled off on the edge of the map, but I don't want to get too far from it. Let's see here. Bowser going to come and find Chicken Man's back. How are we looking there? Back has no armor on it, so Bowser could get some pretty wicked shots on Chicken Man here if he sees it with those SRMs and machine guns just critting out weapons and heat sinks all day. Onsen down to 69% somewhere.
Teos in the void. Hunchback 2C is open side torso. That's significant damage to report. Everyone else looks like they're still armored, even though their percentages are dropping.
Yeah, I think Bowser sees Chicken Man now, but is going to run into Bonson.
GRAM keeps working the side flank into superior numbers from the opponents, but not taking much return fire. Down to 61%, nothing open though.
Yep. Who's up here? Ghosty over here in the Marauder, keeping Bowser at bay, protecting Chicken Man, who turns around. Now they're running Bowser off. Stimrog still hanging out in the back of the map with a UAV over him. They know exactly where Stimrog is right now, and Bowser is going to go get another fencing match there with mech numbers maybe joining. Probably not though. Looks like he's headed towards their left flank. So much happening on such a big mech. I cannot keep track. Yeah, so Bowser trying to track down Salith here.
Equilibrium's giving up ground around Theta, but it's very gradual. There is a bit of a clash on the Epsilon cap, it looks like.
Yep. Looks like Epsilon's going to fight. So notably, caps are pretty close here. EQ with a slight advantage, like what, 20, 30 points at this point somewhere in. And here's our Saber fight.
Stimrog's legged.
Gets half CT.
Bowser's leg.
Just taking him to task. Looking to present. Yeah, Bowser is going to hold on to this point, but is effectively out of the fight at this point.
We have a mech going for cap point here. GRAM's going for the back cap. Teams are making the plays for the caps. There's a fight on Theta. 2 very heavily damaged mechs here. Salith has been legged in the spider, trying to go for Theta, and Teos is open center torso and side torso. The Overwatch
catching shot from Ghosty there.
Pride Rock Overwatch is very strong on Theta right now.
Yep, and they've got some good crossfires going on here too.
Salis
Salith
goes
goes down
down.
the spider. Yep. Here's Nyan and Scout Derek in a little fight here.
It's going 4 cap
Supernova
for
versus the Shadow
Equilibrium right
Cat.
now. He also needs
Yep.
to make the play for Theta, but they're already open center torso.
Yeah, but oh man, so close. Chicken Man going down as well. That's gonna start to tip things. Looking at Equilibrium's mechs.
Here's the push. Lizzie, Chimera, both dropping down. They're going to push for
There they
Theta.
are.
Teos too fragile to step on the cap. Teos goes down.
Yep. I think Polycat is also real roughed up as well.
Magic Pain
Take a
Glove has
look.
been dropped on by Mech Warrior numbers in the Marauder 2C. Still has both legs. Leg is open though. Now legged. The Magic Pain Glove cannot get out of this fight. Caps are
Yep.
at 650 to 550, and it's a 4 cap situation.
Yeah, this one's gonna go Equilibrium.
2 mechs on Epsi.
Yeah.
And that's a legged Bowser versus. It looks like the Hellfire's taking
Johnson,
significant damage. Center torso
G-Ram.
open. Both
Yep.
legs are still attached though, and that'll decide it.
Yeah, that's gonna flip that to essentially a 5 cap at this point. This goes on caps and not kills yet again.
Neander is fighting to secure a cap here. Their supernova is halved. Scout Derek's running out of there with a very heavily wounded Shadow Cat trying to circle around for cap point.
Yep,
We're
we
20
got
caps
Ghosty
away
and
from the
Zeos
win
over here on
here.
Gamma.
So yeah,
Zeos halved. Ghosty one touch from the rear, and it comes down to caps. EQ eking out the 5 cap at the very end there. Look at that, those red scores across the top.
yeah, that is heavily damaged mechs both sides for the most part, but the cap points determined it.
Cap points determined.
It was an
Very
absolute
close match
amazing
day.
set of matches, and the last match was also
That
exceptionally
was
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah. Let's talk through that one. Actually, let me get stats here for a couple of seconds, and then I'll head on right over to the map. There was a lot happening there. There you go. Hardly any team damage, so I don't get to say anything about that, but just the great scores across the board.
Well, EMP did outtrade them. Their traders
Very
did
much
a bit
so.
more damage. So kind of a similar thing throughout the entire night is that the Avens traders were able to outskill the EQ traders. However, I think the EQ's light pack was doing a better job. A similar kind of thing that I saw all the time was that EMP's traders were Avens traders were healthier, and EQ's traders were not as healthy, but the EQ light pack was relatively fresh compared to the Avens light pack.
Not necessarily fresh. They were damaged too. I think EQ light pilots made better macro calls, and I don't know who's leading them or if it's like Stim and a combination of Stim and GRM, but they definitely outplayed Avens on the macro. Even though Stim lost the 1v1 on Epsi, and I thought that would have been a good sign for Avens, but Salith was actually legged on Theta. And I think if the Spider stuck just capping around the map and kind of did what Stimrog did. Stimrog did a very good job this game. If the Spider kind of did something similar, I think it could have gone differently. He was very, very involved with the light mech macro is what decided this game.
Yeah, so I've got the
absolutely agree.
map room up now. I don't know want to make use of that or not. Throw some arrows on, or where I saw that being decided was partially Stimrog with the runaround in the backfield, but also I'm going to point out a little bit with GRAM on the flank, which I had the angle on that for a fair bit, where they gained space for their team around Theta and backed the opposing team off of Theta, just kind of holding this particular channel sightline here against what should have been outnumbered traders, but the opposing traders were continually looking toward the Gamma Pride Rock, which had a mech parked up on it, and then other mechs positioned near Theta. So it was just a lot of time bought where Theta was ticking because of the the space created for equilibrium there, and just nobody was able to really push GRAM off. They were burning out armor, but gaining cap points through that trade off. That Theta was definitely the key cap point on this fight. It wasn't about the side caps and back flanks for the most part, I would say. They definitely came into play a little bit later, but it was because Theta was already so heavily contested the entire time.
Yeah, EQ was set up very nicely around Theta with their traders to deny. I think after space was made here, GRAM actually grabs Kappa pretty early on as well. So it becomes a 4 cap relatively soon.
You know, and back to the point of the 1v1 on Epsilon, yeah, you know, Nimrog ended up losing that fight, but legging the opponent pins him onto the cap. It does give the cap over. You know, the leg mech can definitely take the cap, but they can't get to any other caps ever again. They're way too slow.
That's about as good as you can make it while still dying.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you leg the enemy mech on this big ass map, like, you basically give that cap to the enemy, but like you said, that mech, its sole purpose is to be fast in the cap. It can't do that anymore. It's dead.
Well, Abbott's had 2 cap mechs. That's why
They
I
do.
thought it was kind of huge. So
Yeah, but
you
they
get
got-
rid of, if you trade your
Stealth
cap
got
mech for
caps.
theirs, and you have one more. But Stealth was legged on Theta.
Yeah, Theta.
I think he was trying multiple times throughout the match to grab
Try
Theta.
and get it.
And I think early on his legs were like orange. He got kind of effed up early. That matters quite a bit. Again, though, these are like, this whole series has been defined by like the smallest decisions stacking up to make like a work of art, if I have to say something.
A very good series. Very good series.
Yeah.
If you're looking to learn high level plays and strats in MechWarrior Online, this would be a series to watch. Both teams making very few mistakes and a lot of very good positional plays. It might not help out the teams that are playing, you know, in the bottom divisions. This isn't the style that teams down there necessarily have the skill level to try and mimic. But for any team that has ambitions to improve in MechWarrior Online, if you're at a Div D skill level, let's say, these would be teams to definitely observe and watch this match, and then see if you can adapt some of those strategies, some of that decision making into your drop calling and just individual play as well.
Yeah, definitely so much to be gained from watching teams.
Or
It's
even
nice
just
can't
to
wait to
see.
see more.
It's nice to finally see more "quote unquote" standard play, where you have your traditional
Yeah.
wolf pack with traders. That's a very enjoyable play style to play in a high competitive level, compared to just like NSR every time, receive every time. Like, that's just, it's not as playing as NSR is more or less don't make a single mistake or you could lose, and games like this, where it's the more standard play, is more overarching meta skill. How do both teams handle the cap game, the angles on the caps, movement, individual aim, you know, all that jazz. It's more of a display of skill, respectfully, of course. But
it was continually challenging and countering and counter challenging the rotations with the pack, trying to find that opening and that angle, and both teams are adept at denying it. If you saw the same play style out of either of these teams against an opponent who wasn't able to keep up on those rotations, the matches would have gone a lot faster, because the Wolfpack would have found their kills, and it just would have snowballed. But without ever finding that opening opportunity to really go in, it did come down to caps. Just, you know, a long drawn out, stalled out affair. Very strategic. So with this, Equilibrium advances to the grand finals, and we've got a match next week in the loser bracket finals between 5th Jaguar Dragoons and Aubins to determine who's going to jump up and face Equilibrium in the grand finals. So Equilibrium also gets a second life in the grand finals, so if they end up losing to either 5th Jaguar Dragoons or Aubins, depending who they're facing, they would then have a second match up against the same opponent. So a little bit of extra breathing space there, as it was very close today for Equilibrium, just barely squeaking through. And next week should be a good matchup as well between 5th Jaguar Dragoons, who look very strong today, and Aubins, who look strong throughout most of the tournament here, particularly against Equilibrium here. They definitely brought their A game.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% on that. And just a reminder, there is only one match next weekend, and then and that will be. Hang on, I've got the date.
There's a 1 week delay there.
Yes, that was what I was looking for. The so that's going to be the 18th, and then it'll be December 2nd is the grand finals, and that has the potential, as we were saying, to be a double header. It won't be a one match a week. If Abens or 5J win the first match of grand finals, we go on to grand finals part 2 because this is double elimination.
Yeah, quick turnaround on that. Not much time to reset. So.
But it's the same team, so you know.
Yeah, you can't exactly prepare something else, but you know take a few minutes to get a breather, grab some water, clear your head, and get back at it if that situation does occur. But very much looking forward to next week's match there. With Jaguar Dragoons and Aubins, both teams looking relatively strong, and be interesting to see which one of them makes it back up into the winners bracket here for the grand finals. So I'm pumped.
Heck yeah, I am very looking forward to that. But we cannot come back if we don't leave. So that is going to wrap our stream. Thank you, Django, for debuting your meta panelist position here.
Thank you for having me.
Bacon.
That was really fun.
Heck yeah, loved both of your commentaries. Sorry to get that in there, Bacon. Thank you as well for stopping by. Always good to have you. All right, and with me's been Therax on MWO Leagues 2.
Yep, covering that alternate angle. So trying to cover the fights that Ivor is not focused on.
Yeah, sometimes we're together, sometimes we're not. It's probably better if we're not. But yeah, go check it out, especially on the replays if you want to do link some of those up, get two perspectives. Great way to review these matches, I would think. But thank you everyone for stopping by. A very lively chat as we go through, and we'll see you next week with that losers bracket finals match. Have a great night, everyone.
Yep. Signing off.